Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out, procrastination, putting it off, kicking the can down the road. In, plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out, carpet in the bathroom. Like, why? In, knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week in Modoc, South Carolina, when a teenage girl sneaks out of her window for a night of fun and hanging out with her friends, but never comes back home, no one could have ever imagined how terrible her fate actually was. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us once and again. We very much appreciate it. We have a absolutely insane show this week, obviously. I hope you enjoyed last week with the man fending his home off, fending the aliens off of his home there. That was quite the interesting one. This week, not so silly, but definitely absolutely insane. So we'll get into that in a second. First of all, thank you for your reviews this week. That purple icon, Apple Podcast, give us 5 stars if you haven't. It really helps out a lot. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now, very quickly. Right as we're sitting here, and get your merch and for Crime and Sports and for Small Town Murder. And, of course, get your tickets to live shows, full slate of live shows next for 2022 and a couple left for the end of 2021. So check those out. They're actually selling fast, and a lot of them were, close to sold out or even sold out from the 2020 because these are all rescheduled from 2020. So you don't want to wait to get tickets or they won't be there because a lot of them are, like people are telling us Boston sold out already.
It's done.
Because it was sold out to begin with. So Ones like that are difficult, so get your tickets right now. And Patreon, my goodness, get your Patreon on patreon.com/crime and sports. The episodes we released this week we are excessively happy with, and we hope you will be as well, because they are funny as hell. First of all is the crime and sports one, which you also have access to. You have access to everything if you're a patron. It's on the Atlanta Gold Club, which was a quote-unquote high-class strip club in Atlanta, where you can find out what Bill Gates, Patrick Ewing, and Madonna all had in common. So there you go. That'll give you there. It was a scandal, and people were forced to testify to exactly what happened, what services were rendered, and it's pretty funny. And the small-town murder one was on the Sons of Sam, more the theory than the documentary. The documentary is a small piece of the book that the guy Maury Terry, who that's all based on, wrote, called The Ultimate Evil, which I read cover to cover, and there is just some wild conspiracy stuff in there.
What a yarn.
Wow. You have to, it's all in the details, my friends, and you need to hear this because it's crazy stuff. So patreon.com/crime and sports right now for all of that and more. You get the whole back catalog and everything else. We just uploaded a bunch that we had older ones that weren't up there yet, so we just put a bunch up this week. You never know when you're going to get some surprise bonus. Plus, you're going to get a shout out because you are our people and we love you. And so Jimmy will mispronounce your name to show our undying affection for you.
Yeah.
And if you just want a shout out, but and some good karma, you can go to PayPal. Use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. You can make a one-time donation there. And we have a huge, awesome, big announcement for everybody right now.
Yeah.
It's a giant thing. What we've been working on, and it's hard not to tell everybody what we were working on when we're working on it, but this is what's been going on behind the scenes for almost a year now.
A ridiculous amount of time.
People have been saying, well, where's Vile Human Beings? That's going to come, but we had to do this first. We started a network.
Right.
So we would like to bring to you shows that we think are good, that we would listen to. And that's our goal, is to...
You know how in whatever podcast app you have, it's saturated with lists and lists of different shows? We want to give you things that maybe you wouldn't have found.
That's exactly right, or things that just we if we find it interesting, we want to present it to you. So we found a couple of shows here, and the first one, they're going to come out in the next few weeks. But the first one we'll talk about today is called Game of Crimes. Yeah. It has first of all, if you've seen Narcos, it has the blonde guy in Narcos, that agent. It's the guy based on him, who's Steve Murphy is one of the hosts of the show, and his buddy Morgan right there.
Old man
who's also a very funny guy. He was a cop as well for Lifetime, and these two are hilarious together, and they're going to give you angles on stories that you've never heard before, not just the Pablo Escobar stuff and all that, although that's there. And it's not just cops, they'll have hitmen on the show from prison they'll talk to. They interviews that you've never heard before, angles on things you've never heard before, Green River Killer stuff. They have all these episodes. It's amazing, this show. And we have a trailer. The trailer's going to come out this weekend, but just for all of our people here, right before shout-outs this week, at the end of the show, you can hear the full trailer and get excited for it, because we really are. So listen for that, and we're jacked for it. So that said... Great dudes, and we have another show coming out that we're going to talk about here next week. We'll give you some info on that, which is amazing too. It's so great. The hostess there, she's amazing. Both of them are. It's
a perspective that you can't get anywhere else.
It's good stuff. So keep an ear out there. Quickly, disclaimer: this is a comedy show. I don't know if you've heard it before. It's a comedy show. We don't make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why?
Because we're assholes.
What?
Well, we're not scumbags. That's a fact right there. It's the way it is, though. We're going to talk about murder, and we're going to be very nice to the people who are murdered and not so nice to the people who do the murdering. It's pretty goddamn simple. Yeah. That said, I think it's time to sit back, Jimmy, and shout, shut up and give me murder. I love doing it. It's just however we do it. That's fun. Okay. Yeah. That said, let's go on a trip, Jimmy.
I'd love to.
Let's do this. Yeah. Okay. So we had a lot of top of the show there. Sorry about that. We have
heavy.
The network. We're proud of that. We want to know about the network. So we are going down from West Virginia to South Carolina.
Right.
And out of the frying pan into the fire here.
We gave no mention of what the name of the network is, James. How much do we love everybody else and hate ourselves?
The Upside Down Digital Network.
Right.
Upside Down.
Upside down.
That's our name of our network. So it's going to be good stuff. We're very, very excited. This is what we've been working on.
Anything that you
Sarah
find...
has put in tireless work behind the scenes on this, insane amounts of work. So we got to thank her for that first and foremost, and also Arn and Shelby and everybody that's worked behind the scenes. Right. Thank you, everybody. Sorry to interrupt you there.
But anytime you hear Upside Down Network, that's us. That's stuff
us. That's going to be us.
Brought you. Yeah.
So Modoc, South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this story starts actually in Martinez, Georgia, but it ends up and becomes very much a story of the Modoc area of South Carolina.
Terrific.
And it becomes into their lore. And this is a really messed up story, everybody. Just right off the bat, got to tell you guys, this is just, oh boy. This is in western South Carolina. It's right on the Georgia border.
Okay.
And directly on it, there's water separating the states here.
Savannah's right there? Oh,
Augusta.
You'll tell me.
Augusta. Yeah.
Okay.
It's about a half hour to Augusta, Georgia.
All right.
So like a lot of the people that live here work in Augusta.
Got it.
Because it's, there's more jobs there. About an hour and a half to Columbia, South Carolina, which is capital of South Carolina. And about 2 hours and 20 minutes to Gaffney, South Carolina, which was our last episode in South Carolina, which I think was 178. That was that horrible strangler person. He was a bad guy. So this is in McCormick County. It's been a while since we've been in South Carolina.
It has.
We need to come back.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Area code 864.
Mm-hmm.
It's 7 square miles, but 3 of it's water. This is all lakes, and it's all sorts of water. This town is meant for it's like Laughlin without the casinos, from what I can gather.
Gross.
It's like older people. Older people go there to jet ski. They drive their RVs there and camp and jet ski and stuff. Is what it seems like.
It's a KOA campground.
Kind of, yeah, but it's pretty. It's very scenic.
Sure.
Motto down here, because have you ever heard of Modoc, South Carolina? No. Apparently most people haven't. Motto is, quote, "We don't even know where the hell we are." So, I mean, that's you're putting it out there for that one. History of this town. We'll just do the brief history and, some funny stuff. This is a great quote from their historical thing here. Quote, "A disastrous fire destroyed most of the business district on February 27th, 1910.
Terrific.
Every small town burned to the ground at some point between 1895 and 1915. Every small town in America burned to the ground and had to be rebuilt. So they quickly rebuilt and had everything. Everything's been around now since 1910 in Main Street. And they obviously made it not of wood the second time.
Great.
So... they expanded it. They started putting some brick buildings in. They put an opera hall in there. Mm-hmm. So they're not fucking around now when you get an opera hall going on. That's when you're
high class.
You're stepping it up here. Now, the interesting part of this is there was a bunch of brick buildings on one corner on Main near the corner of Clayton Street was the Chero Cola Bottling Company. Uh-huh. Now, I love defunct things and, old stuff like that, old products. So I went into this, and apparently the pharmacist who invented Chero Cola was a guy named Claude Hatcher from Columbus, Georgia. 1905, he had a concoction, a ginger ale that he called Royal Crown. Yeah. Okay. Which is familiar. And he went into business as Union Bottle Works. In 1910, he started making a cherry cola called Chero Cola, which was, pretty big and successful. So he changed the name of the company to Chero Cola. Now, Coca-Cola was really pissed off because a bunch of people started making colas. So they started claiming trademark infringement on the word cola.
Oh, Christ.
Which is pretty ridiculous.
That's dirty. Yeah.
That's wild. So Chero Cola had to drop the cola from its name, and then it was just called Chero, which doesn't sound like any kind of good drink.
That sounds disgusting.
Yeah, and their market share went down, and they ended up discontinuing it in the 1920s. But what he ended up doing is he also, at the same time, concocted a fruit-flavored brand of soda called Knee-High, which is grape Knee-High was still around. And he changed the name of the corporation to the Knee-High Corporation. Then eventually he got into cola again and called his new company Royal Crown Cola. So that's RC Cola. So there you go. RC Cola came from this town and this guy.
Fascinating.
Which is pretty cool, I thought. It's really the most interesting thing that's happened in this town. So I thought that was pretty good.
You can taste the difference between Coke, Pepsi, and RC for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of big difference. Different formula.
By far the best booze mixer. It is fantastic.
It's best for booze?
Oh, God.
What quality gives it a better booze mixing quality?
It's possibly it's possibly because it's more sugary.
Okay, is it like more syrupy?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a thicker. So
100% worse for you than probably anything else.
Okay, all right. Now I'm sure it is.
The taste it's unrivaled. That's what RC is for. It's certainly for mixing with booze.
But no bars ever have RC though.
Nobody ever fucking has RC.
No one has RC.
It's a nightmare.
It's in like a back dust corner of a supermarket. We're like, can they still make that? Holy shit.
And they've been holding on to the can since 84.
Yeah. That's when I was a kid, I actually have a phobia about RC. Yeah. When I was about 8, I had an RC in a plastic bottle.
Oh, no.
And it had some kind of goop in it, like it had like congealed, like the syrup or something.
On top?
And no, like in the bottle. So like when you sloshed it, you could like see it on the bottom, like all.
Oh,
it looked like if somebody spit out a chaw of tobacco, but it was just like all the. It was all the like
probably did.
Syrup. It was all the syrup shit. You could see it, and it's kind of made me not want to drink it.
It came from
years.
South Carolina, James. It was probably the shift spit cup that they accidentally capped and sealed.
That's a possibility, but I saw it and didn't want any part of that shit. I was like, you're not supposed to shake this, are you? This isn't good. So,
I'm told you don't shake soda. Is that what this one's supposed to do?
So reviews of this town. Mm-hmm. Now, once again, I must reiterate, because we just had somebody email us and complain thoroughly about our Coventry Township, Ohio episode about how we don't know shit about what we're talking about Coventry Township.
Oh,
and
for Christ's sake.
How can we say those things about it when we've never been there? And we're like, we don't write the reviews. These aren't a comedy bit. I take reviews that people write on the internet, okay, and then I read them to you.
Yeah.
No, I'm a conduit of these. That you can't be mad at us. We didn't say this. We didn't write this.
It was fantastic.
Had nothing to do with this whatsoever. These are literally. Just, if you read a Yelp review, when you read it, is it your fault that it's there because you read it? No, it's not. Someone else wrote it. Are you pissed at
yourself that lady got bad service?
So, reviews of this town, once again, not our reviews, okay? First one, there's only 2 reviews I could find because it's a very small town, so very few reviews. 2 reviews, and this one's 2 stars. Okay. Quote, we only have 1 gas station, 1 hair salon, and a post office. To be able to get to a grocery store, it's a 30-minute drive to town, I assume Augusta. Uh-huh. We used to have a fireworks station, but it closed down many years ago due to the lack of customers. That's a small town when they're like, we used to have a fireworks stand, but shit, that closed down, 10, 12 years ago? You shouldn't remember that, probably.
Trying to recount all the commerce that's been sold here, and you remember a fucking fireworks stand?
Well, they only have like a post office, a gas station, and a hair salon otherwise, so they remember.
Hilarious.
Now, this one is 3 stars. It's the best review I could find. Now, a lot of the campgrounds and lake shit are reviewed very highly, so don't say this is just the town. 3 stars, quote, I don't know of any homeless people that wander around our neighborhood. It's an odd way to start any exchange of anything. I don't know of any homeless people that wander around our neighborhood. All right, were you asked that? Right. My parents and our neighbors who have graduated college and have successful jobs work 20 to 30 minutes away from home. Augusta. So not a lot of homeless people. Augusta they work in. That seems to be the gist. Now, people in this town, population is 218. Uh-huh. So small. That's as small as we get here.
That might be the smallest. Did we do one with 13 people or some shit like that?
We did one with, I remember 74. I want to say in Ovando. We've done less, small. But this is in the top 10 of small that we've done here. Up 50% since 1990. So
wow.
And then it's dropped, though, since 2000. People have decided against it again. Male and female population is normal. Actually, I'm sorry, a few more males than females, which is flip-flopped. Median age, though, is way higher. The demographics on age are out of the realm of normal here. Median age is 58.3. It's normally about 37, almost 38. It says in the demographics that there are 0% of people are under 18.
Wow.
So there's nobody under 18, and only 4% are under 45, is what it says.
Holy shit.
So the whole town is 96% is above 45 years of age, according to the town demographics.
You can almost go ahead and throw, let me see your ID right out the fucking window if you're selling booze or almost anything.
You don't even need to carry it. You don't need to carry. You're fine, sir. Or ma'am. You're very much old enough.
Fascinating.
And so the stats are way off because of this, too, which makes it funny. The married population is almost 80%. It's normally 50-50. Here's one, though. Single with no children, 0.0%.
Get out of here.
Not a town to go be picking up people, and I'm going to go, I'm going to hook up tonight. I'm going to find me something. I'm going to get somebody.
No strings attached strange. Just in case you get her pregnant, she comes with at least 2.
Well, here, she'll come with... You won't get her pregnant, but she'll bring her grandkids on the date is the problem. So you have to worry about that. She's 66 years old, and she'll bring like her teenage grandsons on the trip, and you have to pay for their dinner too.
Yeah,
they
but
teenage kids
are 19 in this scenario because nobody's under 18.
Nobody. Yeah, that's true. Well, no, they're just they're in visiting. That's all. They're there for the summer.
They live in Augusta.
They live in Augusta. Yeah. So
the rules of this town are just no homeless people. You heard of golf? That's it.
There's a lot of jet skiing going on. The race of this town is 100% white. So, I mean, there's only 200-something people, but they're all white people.
Right.
Religion, like we said, you would expect this. It's down south. People are a little older. You'd say, oh, it's probably very high. Actually, no. With the older population, as we find, they're like, forget about this God shit. 39.3% religious, which is under the average, actually.
Yeah.
Few Methodists are actually the most people here, then Baptists, obviously, because they are the Catholics of the South, as we know. A couple of Lutherans, a Presbyterian or two, 0.0% Jewish. That's not even a consideration here. McCormick County, which it's in, 47.2% of the people voted Democrat in the last election, 51.9% voted Republican, and under 1% voted independent as well.
Interesting.
So, yeah, the elderly people tend to be less voting like in a third party. They're like, I don't have a lot of votes to throw away here. I don't have a lot of votes to waste. So
I'm going to do this maybe 3 more times.
Yeah, I'm running the time. It's a 2-minute warning just went off. I think I'm tapping my wrist here. So unemployment rate here is just about right with the rest of the country, maybe slightly high. Household income is high here, though. I think it's one of those places where if you have a good job and somewhere else, you can live here. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of a scenic place.
And within driving distance.
Yeah, half hour. That's an easy one. Within, let's see, median household income, normally it's about $57,500 in the rest of the country. Here it's $72,000, almost $73,000 here.
Interesting.
Which is not too shabby.
Yeah.
That's good money. 39% of the jobs here in the town are manufacturing jobs, which is if that place shuts down, the whole town's out of work. Generally.
It's a little unstable, but listen, while it's good, it's good.
While it's good, it's good, yeah. The cost of living, 100 is average, par. Here it's 104. It's kind of expensive. Housing is the high one, 126 out of 100 for housing. Okay. Median home cost here, $292,100, which is about $60,000 over the national average. So it's
but I got $70,000 a year. I don't give a shit.
Well, plus pretty much every house is on the water of some kind. So it's very hard to find a place that's not backed up to a fucking lake or
brings the price up a
stream.
Well,
it's scenic. So if we've convinced you that you need a nice place to retire, we have for you the Modoc, South Carolina Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here is about $700 a month, which seems pretty low when you consider that the housing is, that's like half the average of rental.
Yeah, that's super cheap.
I don't know if anything's available, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
I found a 0.82 acre lot that's right near the water. Like I said, there's nothing on it, but you'd have to knock some trees down and put a house up. But
quarter of an acre, though?
Yeah, more than that. More than three quarters. 0.82 acres.
Oh, 0.82.
Yeah,
Got
it's
it.
nice stuff. $99,000.
Wow.
That's kind of a deal there. That's not bad. I found a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,269 square foot house. Mm-hmm. It's a nice house. Again, lake adjacent.
B-holes are great. This is terrific. Yeah.
Yeah, matching up T-bowls and B-holes right on the lake. $599,500 for this.
Oh, my.
It gets pricey fast. That's a price increase of $4,000 they just tacked onto it. So the market must be good there.
Yeah.
Then let's say you've done very well. You own half of Augusta and you're going to relax on the weekends. I found a 5-bedroom, 5-bath, most certainly T-bowls for B-holes here. 3,700 square foot. Very nice. The whole thing backs right up to the lake beautifully. It looks like Dr. Marvin's house in What About Bob? That's what it looks like. It's beautiful. $1,300,000 for this.
Terrific.
So, not that bad. If you got that kind of money to spend, that's not a bad deal to spend it if you're retired or whatever.
Sure.
Things to do here. Well, first of all, outdoors. It's all lake shit.
Right.
Anything you could think of on water and camping and all that, they got that shit covered.
S'mores. Hell yeah. Jet ski.
S'more it up, everybody. Then the only real thing to do, thing that happens here is the Modoc dirt racing track.
Oh,
just
all right.
north of town.
Hell yeah.
So they have a bunch of races and people win, if you win the race, you win $3,800 or whatever. They were showing what they won. Yeah. That you've spent $40,000 since the last race getting your car ready and then you get $3,000.
Big prize.
It's one of those. Yeah. So I don't know what I wanted to know what the experience of going there was, not being a driver. So I found some reviews of the place that we'll read here, and most of the people liked it, but there's one kind of steady complaint through the whole thing.
It's loud?
Well, no, here's 5 stars. It's just from a month ago. Had a great time. Cost more a little high. Cost more a little high on tailgating and pit area, but had a wonderful time. Really enjoyed the race. No punctuation at all or any sense to that either.
Allow me to decipher that hillbilly shit for you, James. That means it was a little pricey to tailgate and hit the pits, but listen, I had a great time.
But she really enjoyed it. Is that hillbillyese?
That's what it is.
4 stars. Really great place to see some dirt racing. Ticket prices are also good. Half the people say outlandish prices. Half the people will go real reasonable prices. So I don't know what to say about the prices or who's saying what. Make sure to bring something to sit on because the seats are rough on the backside.
All right.
That's valuable advice right there, actually.
They're called steel bleachers, sir.
That's rough. They're probably splintery. They're probably just, railroad ties. Love that you can bring a small cooler in with drinks and food. Just make sure you don't have glass bottles. If you don't want to go that route, just enjoy the food at the concession stand. Well, no shit. Thanks a lot. If you have to go to the bathroom, just use one of the toilets. Really. Well, can't wait to do that.
If you like walking, do that with your legs.
Do that with your legs. If you start to get lightheaded, you should breathe. Use your nose or your mouth. There's 2 options there. It's pretty good. The lines do get long and they are a little pricey, so bring some extra cash with you. Here's 4 stars. 4 stars, great racetrack. But man, all that dirt flying in the air, eyes were full of dirt after a few laps of super late models. I wish the dust was less to enjoy the racing more. Okay. And then finally, 1 star. This is the only person that really hated it. Not worth spending the money. All you see is a dust race. Dust race. Track need to be redone. Other than that, it would be a good racetrack to go to with 2 O's, of course.
Yeah.
So
they don't got a water truck?
No. Sounds like it, depending on who you are, it's pricey or not. And it is, I would imagine, objectively dusty, probably, I would think, right?
Sir, it's a dirt track.
Yeah.
That's what, I mean, what do you, you're running cars around dirt. What do you expect?
If you water it down, now it's a mud track. It's not the same race. So,
and cars, drive a car across a muddy road.
It doesn't work well.
Some of that water goes away. You know what I mean? Like
it's going to still, you're going to get to the lower layers. So, crime rate.
It's just logic, sir.
It's nope. Isn't it weird? I went to a dust track and it's dusty. It's a weird thing.
Went to a dirt race. I got dirt in my teeth.
Oh, Jesus. Crime rate's literally called the Modoc dirt racing track. Dirt racing. Crime rate, property crime, slightly high, actually, a little above average, which tourist towns, a lot of times, that's kind of the way it works. And then violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is actually just under the national average as well, which is kind of normal for a small town here. And that's probably half like two old men, drunkenly fighting over an RV parking spot or something at a campsite is probably half of their violent crime. There's just not enough people to have more.
I do want to point out, somebody tagged us in a picture on Instagram. They went to Mount Rushmore and they tagged it murder, rape, robbery, and assault.
The Mount Rushmore
the
of
words
crime.
Under each president. That's fucking hysterical.
That's pretty funny. So it's meant the other way, but I guess the shoe fits. I don't know. So let's talk about a murder, shall we? Because this here is this is a... Wow, this one messed me up. I'm not going to lie here. This is just because there's ways to do things, and there's a decorum to certain things, and it's just certain, like I've been listening to a couple of different books about the Hillside Stranglers, because we're going to have some bonus stuff about them eventually here pretty soon. So the Hillside Stranglers, when I listen to them, it's a weird thing that, like, when it's a singular person, when you hear about what Ted Bundy did to people, or even BTK, and you can think of the most horrible people, or Jeffrey Dahmer, there's something about one person doing that's, I don't want to say comforting, but it's like, okay, it's a person.
You get it. Yeah.
They're fucking wacky, and they get away from everybody, and they're all, and you can avoid that one person, and maybe you could kick them in the nuts if they try to come at you or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think about that. But like with the Hillside Stranglers, there's two complete scumbags just sitting there being like, oh, let's do that. And then they're getting they're encouraging each other, and they're getting off on each other's bullshit. And it's just, there's something about that makes it so much worse, so much more terrifying, I would think, for the victim to be like, there's something just more scummy about that for some reason.
And they're blood related, and they're in it together, and they both have a common. There's so many more layers combined with that they care so much about doing this. And there's double. It's like,
there's two of them.
Twins. Yeah.
The Doublemint twins.
Girls.
But it's like, they're like, when people get together more than one and they decide to do something, and they really go at it like that, something terrible, they turn, it's like a feral thing. Like when you see a pack of animals decide they can overtake something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the mentality there. And it's like, it's creepy to think about people just transitioning out of being human for a minute to just be like this weird pack mentality of it's just creepy, you know what I mean? So whenever that happens, whenever it's more than one person doing something terrible, I always hate it. So Hillside Stranglers coming up for some bonus stuff down the road here. So this murder here, to start the story off, let's go back to 1994.
Okay.
So we're teenagers here.
Sure are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me and you are teenagers in 1994. You're getting arrested shoplifting Genesis games from Sears at this point in time?
The year before, yeah.
Yeah, so this is,
in a lot of trouble at this point. Trying to find my way.
I'm trying to find my way. I'm trying to find my way at this point, too.
Pockets full of Gravity Cologne and Sega Genesis games.
I'm sure pockets full of weed for me at this point, but... we need to talk about a young lady here. Okay. Her name is Melanie K. Ritchie. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Melanie Ritchie, she's 15 years old in 1994. She's a month younger than me. So this girl. So I mean, it's like this is someone I would have went to high school with. I would have been in the same, everything classes with. She RP. She might have been in my homeroom. You know what I mean? Like, so when I think of that, I can immediately like. A lot of these people, it's when we talk about the cases, whether they're newer or much older, it's, you put them in a certain like news, like almost a capsule of like a news thing. It's you humanize them as, in your brain, obviously. But I mean, like when it's someone who's like right at your age and you can see what they were doing at the time, you're like, oh, wow, that makes it very much like real for some reason. I don't know why that is. It's a very selfish human instinct. I understand. It's not like,
but you know what tape was in her Walkman. All that.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I know exactly what she's doing and what her days are like. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well.
Right.
And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
And shit like that. So this is July 11th we're going to start at. Her birthday is July 23rd. So she's almost 16 years old, which is obviously a big deal, turning 16. So she was a high school sophomore the year before. It's summer vacation now. And one night she decides to sneak out. Okay. Now it's the summer. She'll be 16 in a couple of weeks. Yeah. This is the most normal, like, teenage behavior going. You know what I mean? She's going to sneak out and go hang out with her friends out for a little while. Like that's whatever. So maybe the most normal teenager behavior we've ever had on the show, because we've had a lot of weird shit. She's not like married to her stepfather. She doesn't have 2 kids already. You know what I'm saying? She's from like a decent family. Her parents seem like decent people. That's a nice, she's well cared for and shit like that. She's just a normal.
Here? This is in Georgia?
This is in Georgia. This is in Martinez, Georgia, which is just an Augusta suburb. Okay. So she's there. She's a good student as well, from everything everybody says. Very friendly, goes to church. By all accounts, she's just a really good kid that, wants to go hang out with her friends because she's almost 16 years old. And, you're sowing your teenage oats and trying to push brand. What's it like to go hang out at 11 o'clock at night? I've never done that before.
Trying on some rebellion, seeing how it fits.
That's all. Yeah, it's very, very normal stuff here. So her father will say that she was. I don't understand the timeline here because we have kind of conflicting reports. I don't know exactly when they fall in. So her father said that she was babysitting at a neighbor's house, and she was supposed to be home by 8 o'clock, but she never came home.
Oh.
Now, I don't know if the father was asleep and she came home and then snuck out again or what. But I know for sure she climbed out of a window at some point during all of this because
she was home.
She must have been home. I don't know why she would sneak out of the neighbor's house while she's babysitting.
Right.
So that wouldn't make any sense. You can walk right out the front door. Yeah, you can go out the back door, the front door. So that doesn't make, but she's supposed to be home at 8, which, whatever, she's babysitting that night. So either way, she ends up climbing out of her window, I guess in her bedroom window. We know this because while sneaking out, she cuts her foot pretty severely.
That's not a good start to the night.
No, she slices her foot on some metal or some glass or something. Climbing out the window. So it's pretty badly cut, but anybody who's been a teenager and snuck in or out of anywhere, at that moment when you're sneaking out, your adrenaline is pumping. Every sound is magnified. You're like a deer in the woods. You ever, like if you step on a stick 300 yards away, a deer's head will snap around because they're ultra.
Yeah.
That's a 15-year-old sneaking out of a window. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It absolutely is. Like any noise is like, oh God, that was super loud. That probably woke my dad up and now he's coming. Oh shit. So in addition to hearing your heartbeat in your ears at that moment in time, you don't want to get caught. Plus, it's dark outside, so you don't want to see how bad it is until later. You just get like, oh shit, and then you take off.
And now there's the smell of blood in the air. You got to get out of there before the bears come.
Before the wolves come out of the the wolves will be there soon.
Yeah.
So she takes off into the night. Okay, and there's that. Now her parents will say the next morning. She's not home. She didn't come home. So they go to check her room the next morning and she's just not there. Okay. So they're like, okay. They thought maybe she fell asleep babysitting or some shit like that. So they start checking around as you would,
right.
But nobody seems to know where she is, which freaks you out if your daughter is 15 years old and you thought she was in her room.
Right.
So her father says, quote, at this point, for the first time in our lives, we didn't know where our daughter was and we panicked. Yeah, that's anybody, even if you're in a grocery store, you got your kid and you look around, you don't see him for half a second. That's a panic. You have a complete panic.
If you're a good parent.
Yeah, you should have a complete panic. Right. And then you realize that they're staring at the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And
right.
You go grab them. But
they're in the past aisle. When you turn the corner, they didn't.
Yeah, that's all. They saw something and kept on going.
Right.
So now the weird thing is, if that's not weird enough, so the night of the 11th, that's when she's gone. And then the 12th goes by and they get no word of her at all. They call all around. They're, like he said, they're panicked. They're freaking out. They're calling everybody they know, everybody she knows, everybody that they could possibly know where she is. She's not the type of kid that would run away. Uh-huh. This is not her. She's a happy kid that, doesn't have really, she's not like a problem. It's not like, well, she's been to juvie 5 times and, she's got all this and she's got a 28-year-old boyfriend that smokes meth with her that she might have gone to West Virginia to be with him. None of that's happening with this girl. She's just a normal kid.
Every morning for the last 15 years, they've woken up and their daughter's right there.
And their daughter's home and they understand that and they can, put that together. So nothing goes by the 12th and no word from her. So the terror as a parent, you can't even quantify here. So it goes to the night of the 13th, the next day. The next day, her mother, Debbie, is on the phone and with somebody, and the operator breaks through. Okay, on a house phone, the operator breaks through with an emergency call. You used to be able to do that before call waiting. You could get the operator
to call.
Yeah, at medical emergencies, they'll break into a call for you. So she said, quote, Wednesday night, I was on the telephone talking to someone when the operator broke in and said she had an emergency call from Melanie. I waited there, and there was nothing else on the line. Think about that. And that was it. She just never heard anything.
What the fuck?
Nothing came on. So somebody called the operator and said either that they were Melanie or whatever, and either Melanie called or somebody called to say there's an emergency call from me. So, and then nobody came on the line. So
somebody
now
called, the phone line was busy, so they called the operator. I need you to break into this line. I got an emergency message. Yeah.
So now they're wondering, is she being like held, held against her will, and they let her call? Like, what's the story with, they think, well, obviously it's a good sign of maybe she's alive, but also is it somebody playing some kind of sick fucking prank or who knows? Whatever it is, though, it's a fucking horrible thing to do if you're not Melanie. So. Sure. Anyway, they're in a panic, obviously. They're looking for their daughter, and she's just gone into thin air, just disappeared. So let's talk about three guys at this point, three young men who I think two of them go to school with her here. One of them goes to school with her. I apologize here. Okay. First is Jeffrey Ryan Payne. He's 17 years old. He's a junior at Lakeside High School, which is in Evans. I believe it's in Evans, Georgia, just outside of Martinez there. And he was a junior the year before. And then a guy named Jamie Lynn Lee. Now, Jamie Lynn is hilarious because that's Britney Spears' little sister. So old Jamie Lynn here.
And I just deduced that is her dad and her mom's name slammed together. That's a
guy. That's a guy, Jamie Lynn Lee.
I get it.
Yeah, you're talking about
Brittany's dad's name is Jamie.
Yeah. He goes by, absolutely.
His name is James. Goes by Jamie.
What Jamie. So they
wrong
named the
with
kid.
you, sir?
That's a weird thing. I'm a James, and I've known a lot of Jameses, and none of them go by Jamie.
I knew one in school named Jamie, and he went by Jamie. And then I just found out recently that his real name is James, and I only know that because he's on TV sometimes. And I was like, what the fuck is this James shit? And I was like, oh my God, that's his real name.
Jamie. Why would you pick that?
What the fuck were you doing as a kid, man?
There's other options for James than Jamie. That seems like that's what his mom called him, and
I
then
think
it got picked up. Like Jamie, because
everybody called him in school.
Maybe, yeah.
Bizarre name.
This is
James,
his actual
James
name.
is such a cool name, though. Why go by
I guess
Jamie?
So. It's fine. But this isn't. This is his name is Jamie. That's it. Jamie Lynn Lee. Period. Okay. So Jamie Lynn Lee is 17, and he was a sophomore at Evans High School before this year, going into the summer. And then there's a guy named Joseph Kelsey, who's 16 years old here, and we'll get into his shit here. He's 16. He's got he's like the kid who he moves around a lot. His dad's in the military, and he doesn't really have a lot of supervision, and it shows in his actions. One of those kids, the kind of a feral one here. His father was stationed in the military at Fort Gordon, and then since then, later after that, his father was transferred to Washington, D.C. They allowed Kelsey, the kid, to remain in Georgia to finish the school year, and also stayed part of the summer, and then halfway through the summer, he'll end up moving away, like in August. He'll end up moving away from here. But anyway, during the 1994, he is staying with a friend of his, a 17-year-old named Mike Kirshner in Martinez, Georgia. Okay. So that's where Kelsey is at this point. So on July 11th, which is the same day, obviously, that night that Melanie snuck out of the house, Mike Kirshner leaves to go to work, and Kelsey is left behind at his house to hang out because he's staying with him. And 17-year-old Jeffrey Payne comes over to hang, and then Jamie Lynn Lee comes over as well to hang out. So these three fucking dildos are in this guy's house. So that seems... Is this, and I keep thinking, it must be, I believe this is that Kirshner guy's house. Like, he's 17, but he has his own place, I'm pretty sure.
Doing great.
I guess. He's got a job. He's going to work on a Monday morning, so there's that. But either way, the three idiots left behind here, Jamie and Jeffrey and Mr. Kelsey, this dipshit, Joseph Kelsey, they decide, because, I mean, what do? You're a teenager. You got the house to yourself. I mean, what? Smoke some weed? Yeah. Chill?
There's beer involved, for sure.
Get some beer. Yeah, whatever your proclivity is, you're going to do that, hang out, talk shit, talk about how cool you are, and blah, blah, blah. These idiots have a different idea. Yeah. They go, hey, let's I'm bored. I don't know. What do you want to do? You want to go to the mall? Nah, I don't drive all the way to Augusta. That's boring. There's girls there, though. Yeah, but still, it's all the way there. I don't know. You know what? Hey, let's make pipe bombs.
Oh,
that's what they decide.
That's
that we're gonna make pipe bombs. These fucking dildos. So they initially construct a bomb using copper tubing and gunpowder from firecrackers.
Okay. Yeah.
Now,
I'll do it.
I don't know if did you ever dabble in blowing shit up when you were a kid?
James,
okay.
I'm missing a goddamn finger.
Yeah, but that was from legit fireworks, though. That wasn't.
That was a legit bomb, is what that was.
That's what I mean. That wasn't from a homemade concoction.
No,
I don't know if
I did the typical dry ice ones. I
figured though, missing half a finger, maybe that would keep you from doing shit with homemade. You know, like you know what, guys, I don't make homemade bombs. I've already learned my lesson.
No, because I could still use it to count.
When I was a teenager, and obviously I'm not condoning this, and nobody should do this at all. You should never make explosives, okay? Right. Number one, never do it. But this was a long time ago. We used to do a similar thing, but in a cardboard tube, so there's no shrapnel.
Right.
That's the thing.
So nobody gets hurt. Right.
Yeah, we were literally like, we'd put like a pot that used to have a plant in it that's got some dirt in it still, and you'd put that, and it would blow that up, and there'd be dirt everywhere, and you'd go, oh shit, that's hilarious. Like, that's what we were doing. We weren't looking for like, hey, will this work as an improvised explosive device? That's not what we were after. These guys are using copper tubing, which is excessively dangerous, and you're not good shit here. So they ended up detonating a bomb that they made near a tree in Kirshner's backyard. Yeah. This guy's at work, and they're at his house blowing trees up. So after that, they decided, well, that was pretty cool, but I bet we could improve the bombs if we did this and this.
Okay, so now they're doing trial and error, making it better?
Making it better. This is what they're doing today. Is nothing on TV? What are you fucking doing?
It's 1994. There's great stuff out.
Yeah, dude, it's good. We would have just sat. MTV would have been on, because they actually had videos and stuff that they would play. You'd watch that. You could watch go inside, get stoned, watch The Price is Right, and fucking laugh. And what are you doing? Instead, these idiots are making pipe bombs. So they wanted to make more sophisticated bombs. They're like, this is, come on, this is kid stuff here. Copper bombs. What are we doing? So they end up shoplifting pipe material and shotgun shells from pipe material from a hardware store and shotgun shells from a Walmart.
Of course, it's Walmart. Yeah.
They ended up stealing this shit from. So, they're going in heavy here for this. They're right off the bat.
Shotgun shells has ample explosive in it. Yeah.
A lot. Yeah. So apparently, Joseph Kelsey was the head bomb maker here. He was the guy who knew, I guess, something about this and kind of initiated the whole bomb making process. And under his direction, the three of these fucking morons built 3 galvanized steel bombs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This is like, roadside Iraq shit that they're building. This is crazy.
These are gas pipes. This is not good.
This is wild. One of which they took outside and set off in Kirshner's backyard again.
Okay.
The explosion produced a crater about 4 inches deep and a foot wide.
Yeah, that'll do.
So that's it's a bomb. That's a big bomb.
Yeah,
that's a good sized bomb. It's not an M80. It's not it's not a blockbuster. It's not that's something dangerous.
It's a leg buster. This will take some shit off of people.
Oh, absolutely. So it also left shrapnel in the side of the house and all in a nearby privacy fence as well.
In the fucking house?
In the house. Just shrapnel covered the side of the house and also in a wooden fence nearby.
Oh, it's his own house. It's not his parents' house. So
Kirshner. But can you imagine you're 17 years old and you've managed to procure your own home.
Yeah.
And you have to work on a Monday morning, so you leave your friends in your house, and they're blowing up your backyard, putting shrapnel in your house, and
fuck your security deposit. That's what they're doing right now.
They're doing that, and is no one around? Is no one hear loud explosions and think, well, that's a problem? Should I
wish that landlord next door hadn't rented to a 17-year-old.
Yeah, I'm all for mind your business. You know that. But there's explosions going off right next door. I'm like, that sounded like an explosion. That's bad. Should I call the fire department at least? Something?
Yeah.
Because like I said, I do believe in mind your business forever and ever. I think it's everything. Yeah. Mind your business. Just
until it's affecting you. That's what it is.
Until it's affecting you. Yeah.
Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. Just leave it out of my life. When it affects me, we got problems.
Mind your business is the greatest parable of all time. Just mind your business. I feel like even, you'll put it in a religious sense for you, even though I'm not religious. I feel like all of the 10 Commandments are just mind your business put in different words.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
They really, I don't know them off the top of my head, but like, one is like, don't steal. Well, you got your own shit. Mind your business. Don't covet your neighbor's shit.
Don't fuck other people's shit. Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck are you looking at his shit for? Mind your business. What are you doing? Don't kill anybody. Well, if you wouldn't have got so overblown getting involved minding somebody else's business, you wouldn't have been mad enough to kill anybody.
Right.
What do you care what that person's doing?
Or somebody got in your business. Mind your business.
Mind your business.
Don't fuck with them. Mind your business. They'll mind theirs as soon as they read this book.
Not worshiping false idols would be like mind my business.
Right.
I guess at that point.
Mind your own business. And also, if you're going to mind other people's business, mind mine only.
Maybe. I'm not sure. But I think mind your business is a good thing, except when there's major explosions going off, possibly. Yeah. Then you might want to just see what's going on. So they do all of this. They have 2 more unexploded, undetonated, galvanized steel bombs that they made here. Jesus. And so they place them inside a travel bag and put them in the house.
Yeah, I mean, bring that right on in here. What?
just put it on in the house. No, put it in the kitchen, I say. Why not?
Put it up next to the bananas. It'll be fine.
Yeah, they go bad quick anyway, so they'll have enough room soon. The bananas go bad in 3 hours, so that's fine. Later that evening, Kirshner has a party at his house. What a life this kid has, this Kirshner. Man, he has a party, and everybody's there. Jamie Lynn Spears, or whatever the hell he is. Jamie Lynn Lee, Jeffrey Payne, Joseph Kelsey, Tom Wurtzinger is there, April Reese, Tommy Spiegel, Joey Ingram. The whole list of people.
Sounds like a bunch of dudes that know one girl.
I was going to say, this April Reese girl better watch her back is what I got to say here. Or she's like that one cool chick that's just fun to hang out with. And
or she's Warzinger's girlfriend and
or
somebody's
one of their girlfriends or something.
Yeah, of course she's coming.
So everybody's drinking beer here, obviously. It's, beer drinking kind of party. At about midnight, Jamie Lynn Lee and Jeffrey Payne leave the party to go to a Texaco station nearby, gas station. Yeah. Now, apparently this gas station is it's like a hangout for the kids. We all know that gas station where like a kid works, and so a bunch of people hang out, you steal shit, and you get free sodas, and then everyone hangs out, and you can kind of see it's a central clearinghouse for what you're doing that night.
It's the meetup for where you going. It's that.
Yeah. So that's what they decide to do. Go over there, see who's there, tell people there's a party, get some snacks, whatever the hell they're doing over there. So they go to the Texaco station. When they arrive at the station, they find somebody they know and standing near a telephone booth. And that is Melanie Ritchie. Mm-hmm. She is there. They notice that her foot, she's not like putting weight on it. She's like standing weird on her foot. So they go up and talk to her. And she says that she was sneaking out of her house to meet up with her friend, and she cut her foot really bad. Right. So she's kind of dripping blood and all of that shit. So Jeffrey Payne and Jamie Lynn Lee offer to take her to Kirshner's house. He's like, there's a party, and we got like Band-Aids and shit. We can like fix up your foot.
Yeah, we got bomb-making materials. Of course we got Band-Aids.
We got gauze. Shit, are you kidding me? We got gauze. We got galvanized steel pipes, whatever you're looking for over here. So they end up doing that. They end up, offering her that, which is a pretty good offer. If you're standing at a gas station when you're 15 with your foot bleeding at 11 o'clock at night, that's not bad, or midnight.
You need 2 things. You just snuck out of the house. You want booze, and now you need wrap-ups, and they've got both. Let's go.
Yeah, assume if a party of that nature is why you would sneak out of a house, you know what I mean, to go to some shit like that. So she agrees, and she says, yeah, sure. So they take her to Kirshner's house. They clean her up. They bandage her shit. So she's, they get Apparently they get back around there at about 1:30 a.m. Now, I don't know why it was what took an hour and a half to get from around midnight when they go to the Texaco station. So there's a lot of time that's answered for in here. But
Martinez is quite a distance from. Oh, never mind. That's where the party is in Martinez.
Yeah,
right?
it's in there. Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they were doing, if they went and like got some McDonald's or what. But so Lee, Payne, and Melanie all return to Kirshner's house a little before 1:30. Lee and Payne help her bandage up her foot, and then they all join the party. So everything's good now.
Yeah.
Let's numb that foot up with some booze.
Hell yeah.
Okay. So Payne and Richie, Jeffrey Payne and Richie go outside on the back porch and hang out there. Now, Payne, over the course of this time when they're out on the back porch, is just trying to talk Melanie into having sex with him the whole time.
Right.
He's just like, come on, we go inside, blah, blah, blah. He's trying to coax her into that.
Sure.
She just snuck out of the house. Her foot's all fucked up. You know what I mean? Like,
she just got off work. I was babysitting 3 hours ago.
That's what I mean. So this is like a bad plan, but I mean, 17-year-old kids do this, and she repeatedly refuses him. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Not interested in banging you here. Thanks a lot anyway.
Yeah.
So at several points, and the party keeps going on after this, and at several points after this, Payne keeps telling Lee, by the way, Payne and Lee are like best friends. Jeffrey Payne, Jamie Lynn Lee are like best friends.
Yeah.
Kelsey just arrived like in the middle of the school year. He's kind of the third wheel of the group, but he hangs out with them. So these two, though, have known each other forever. They're best buddies.
And Kelsey's the bomb maker?
Yeah, Kelsey's the guy who was like, hey, you ever make bombs? And they're like, no. He's like, I'll show you how.
Don't you worry. Yeah.
So Payne is talking to Lee about how the hell do I get this girl to fuck me? You know what I mean? Like, damn it. He's complaining at several points that, Jesus Christ, this is ridiculous. She just won't bang me. This is fucking crazy. Whereas as a teenager, you're like, I don't know, maybe she doesn't want to. I remember people being like upset, like, oh man, I want to go find somebody else. I don't know. What do you want? Like, she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to. Well, sorry.
There's only one other girl here. This blows.
Yeah, this is what ends up happening. So anyway, he's very frustrated. Joseph Kelsey will say at one point he overheard Payne tell Lee that he was so mad he could kill her. That's how mad he was, damn it. What? So Payne tells Lee to do him a favor. He says, do me a favor. He says, you got some ecstasy, right? He's got, like in pill form, tabs, tablets, not tabs like acid. So he said, do me a favor. Crush that shit up for me. Crush up that ecstasy. Do that. And, give that to me when you're done. So Lee crushes it up and gives it to Payne. Payne then pours the ecstasy, the crushed up powdered now ecstasy, into a mixture of tea and water.
Yeah.
And gives it to Melanie and says, oh, here's some tea. This will help your, she said she had a stomach ache earlier in the evening. She might have just been trying not to fuck him and was like, I don't know, my stomach kind of hurts. You know what I mean? I don't, girls have whatever. So this guy said, here, I made you, here's some, I'm obviously a medicine man here. Here's a concoction that I whipped up from some Amazonian leaves and everything that you can, are you trusting this guy for his stomach ache remedy?
His old wives' tale remedies.
Right.
I found some castor oil and tea. Throw this down you.
You're going to fucking love it. It's got sawdust in there, too. It helps constitute the system.
Right.
So he gave it to her, told her it would help calm her stomach ache, and obviously didn't tell her that, it's got a bunch of ecstasy in it also.
P.S. You're about to be fucked up.
You're about to be fucked up. Now, I don't know if this is the teenage... This is the thing I don't understand here. Is this the teenage thing of like you, and especially in the 90s and like 94, ecstasy just had this like reputation as like you take it and then you'll start humping people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was just going to ask you, has he ever taken ecstasy before and doesn't know that it doesn't mean that her vagina is just a waterfall that needs plugging?
For everything around, and especially
him. Is that
him.
what he thinks happens?
I think in the 90s, though, that's people thought that was the thing. So I don't know if he thought that or if I don't know. Or if he just thought I think ecstasy, like if you want to fuck somebody anyway, then you'll want to fuck them even more. Yeah. But if you don't want to fuck anyone, it won't make you want to fuck them just because you're on ecstasy.
Right.
You'll be more annoyed by them that they're like annoying you while you're trying to enjoy your high at that point. I would think.
Even Bill Cosby right now, if he's listening to this, goes, "Oh, that's not how you do it."
That's not at all how it works. So and this is disgusting behavior, by the way. We're joking about it, but they're spiking a 15-year-old girl's drink with fucking ecstasy to try to have sex with her. This is
horrible.
Absolutely, this is criminal behavior right here.
Already,
right now.
yeah.
Already, we're in crime land right now.
But he's also has homemade bombs, James. So he's a double felon right now.
Yeah, he's a double threat right now. Yeah. He really is. He can sing and dance. He's Now, while this was going on, Kelsey said he wasn't hanging out with them while they were like crushing up ecstasy tablets and spiking girls' drinks. He said that he was resting on the floor by the stereo and changing the music up when it needed.
He's playing DJ.
He's the DJ of the party here, is his claim. So around 3:30 a.m., they all decide that she decides she needs to go home now. Yeah. You know, if her parents get up early because it's a weekday. It's a Monday. Yeah. Monday night. So
Dad's
I mean,
about to be awake. Yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday morning if that coffee pot starts going off at 5:30 a.m. at her house or what, I don't know. So about 3:30 she needs to go home. So the three of them, Kelsey, Payne, and Lee, all decide, well, we'll take you home. No worries. You know, we drove you here, so it's only fair. So they hop into Lee's. Jamie Lynn Lee has a 1987 Honda Civic, which is the most 1994 high school car you could possibly fucking have.
That square one.
That I was just going to say, the goddamn square one with the hatchback thing. With the man, it's like a 6 inches off the ground. It's a real piece of shit.
It was essentially a street legal go-kart that'll do 65, 70 miles an hour.
While whining really badly. But I know a lot of people that had that car, though. That's the thing in high school.
It's the most fun car to take apart. You can do it in an afternoon. the whole goddamn thing.
And then you just get some model glue to put it back together and you're fine.
Smear your hands in that bird shit in the driveway and start sticking it.
That's it. So they hop in his white 1987 Honda Civic. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Now, Melanie Ritchie is waiting outside of Kirshner's house for them. She's like, okay, take me home. We'll be out in a minute. So she's standing outside waiting for them. It's at this point that Payne asks Jamie Lynn Lee, do me a favor. Now, I don't know why he's his errand boy. Crush up your own ecstasy tablets. And he says to, quote, get me something to knock her out with, is what he tells.
Like heavy
Lee.
Or like more dry?
I think something like to hit her with is what he's getting at. So Lee goes into the garage and picks out a wrench. Oh. Like an 8-inch long wrench. That's the tool he chooses.
Big 24 millimeter, the inch and a half.
Yeah, some big honking wrench. So then Jeffrey Payne suggests that Kelsey also, hey, Joseph, you grab me that, and then Joseph, do me a favor also. While we're out there, who knows what's going to come up? Grab me those pipe bombs too that we made earlier too, because who knows? You know, who knows what's out in the world at 3:30 in the morning? We might want to blow something up. So Kelsey grabs the pipe bombs from his travel bag here, and he said that, they thought we were going to go blow up a mailbox or some shit like that, teenage stuff. That's his claim.
Find a deer carcass.
Yeah, blow it up, fucking, whatever people do, I don't know. So they and Melanie, the three of them and Melanie get into Lee's car to take her home. So Jamie Lynn Lee is driving. Joseph Kelsey's in the passenger seat. Payne and Richie are in the back seat. That's how it goes. Melanie and Jeffrey are in the back seat. So they ask for directions. She gives them directions to the house, and Lee ends up going the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Than she told them to go. She said, where are we going? He said, we're going to drive around for a few minutes. You mind? I'm just going to drive around. Let's go drive around for a while, which is, nothing that would raise a red flag. As an adult, that raises a red flag.
Oh, yeah.
As a kid, you just go, oh, yeah, we're going to drive around, because that's all you had to do, because your car, you didn't have an apartment. All you had was the inside of that car. It's your only autonomy. So,
and this is a friend, kind of acquaintance, barely knows him. I mean, I panicked when we were in an Uber and we missed an exit. I'm like, no, that was it.
Yeah. Oh, God, he's going to kill us all. Kansas City, that guy?
Yeah.
He was just yapping the whole time. And he's like, shit, we missed it. Fucker. I go off on the next one. We're like, we have like a place we need to be.
Right. And he's just gabbing. He's like, no, I like you guys. And just get us to where we got to go, man.
He was drunk, right?
I had to be, right?
He was hammered, I believe, as an Uber driver. He had to be hammered. He was the type of guy that was like, I don't care. I just put vodka in my water bottle. No one knows the difference. That's the type of guy he was. Wasn't he?
I keep it between the lines. We're all right.
Hey, it's no worries. If he pulls you over, you're fine. Don't worry about it. You tell him I'm busy. Leave me the fuck alone.
So you say you're comedians, huh?
Hey,
sir.
Oh, Jesus.
Next exit, please.
Please. Oh, I thought you were going. At one point, he said, oh, that's right. I forgot. I thought you were going to the airport. We're like, what? Just follow the thing on your phone.
You're right.
Telling you where to go.
Your phone literally just said, take next exit.
Like 4 times. And then panicked when you missed it.
Right.
So, come on, man. So, anyway, she asked where they're going. We're going to drive around. Eventually, they cross the Georgia border into South Carolina, which is pretty close to where they are. It's not like that was it sounds like a long distance for crossing a border.
Down the road. Yeah.
It's right there. So, Lee will say that as they were driving, the music was, as he called it, quote, obscenely loud. So, teenage, as loud as it can go, to where you feel your heart rattling in your chest and you start to worry if that's okay. You know that?
If it's an actual, like a stereo, like somebody installed, you know what I mean? If it's just the factory speakers, turning that shit up too loud, it's like, what are you doing, man?
Ow, it just hurts.
It hurts.
I assume in the Honda Civic, too, you can fit shit in that trunk. People would always have systems in those things. So I'm assuming it's kind of a system. And he's driving 90 miles an hour, which is as fast as that Honda Civic can possibly
that is
possibly
7,000 RPMs in that
I was just going to go. It's in the fucking red. 9,500 RPMs right now.
That thing is singing.
Especially with 4 people in it with weight. Holy shit.
But he doesn't know because the stereo's up so goddamn loud. He can't hear that motor.
Well, the one thing we do know is from this, anecdotally, South Carolina is definitely downhill from Georgia. We know that. It's downhill. He was certainly not going up a hill.
And this is 94, James. So this is pre-coffee can exhaust. He can't hear shit from this car.
Oh, that's true.
It's just his loud ass stereo, whatever the fuck he's playing.
He's just cranking Alice in Chains and yeah, he's just cranking whatever the hell. That's just like screaming. 90, though. These guys aren't playing that shit. That's like 90.
What's 94?
Soundgarden and that bullshit. Pearl Jam.
It was grunge,
It was grungy stuff, kind of getting it. And also really good hip hop, but I really doubt they were listening to Nas.
You don't think they got into that?
No, 94? I doubt I don't think it got down to there for a while. I think it took
Dre and Snoop playing still?
Maybe Dre and Snoop, because I was 4 years old, possibly, or 3 years old at the time. So possibly that.
Deal,
Maybe. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. SpotMe eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in SpotMe and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro-laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
But they're driving. They cross into South Carolina. Now, Lee says at this moment he's driving and he notices, speaking of the TAC and the RPMs, he notices that his RPMs go from 4,200 to 6,000.
Right now.
They shoot up.
Yeah.
Right now. So he looked down at the gear shift and he noticed that he saw Melanie Ritchie's foot right by the gear shifter and noticed that she had knocked the gear into neutral at a drive.
Right.
So, so they're doing that. And it's at this point that Kelsey said he turned around and looked in the back seat and noticed that he saw Payne choking Ritchie.
Oh, my
God. He saw Payne choking Melanie. He said that Payne had Melanie in a, quote, stranglehold type position. And Lee saw this as well, or he says he didn't notice this as he's driving. He noticed that her foot knocked it into neutral. He just popped it back in drive and was like, oh, crazy mistakes happen. A few minutes later, Lee says that Jamie Lynn said he heard, quote, 2 quick, empty thud type sounds.
Good Lord.
Not like a gunshot, just like a, thump, thump, like if you punched a watermelon or something. He said he turned around, and that's when he saw that that Payne had Melanie still in a stranglehold there, and he said that when he turned around, he had her in a stranglehold, and Jeffrey Payne also had the wrench in his hand. So he clonked her on the head with the wrench, is the thud sound, I can only assume. Joseph Kelsey said that he had also turned around and saw that Melanie's body was pretty limp, and her face was pale, and her lips were blue.
Okay.
All very bad signs that you really don't want to see from a 15-year-old girl at any point ever. So a few moments later, as they put it, Payne leaned forward to yell at Lee to turn the music down for some reason. Hey, turn the music down. So he turns the music down. That's when he stated, Payne from the back seat said, quote, "I'm pretty sure she's knocked out, guys." Because he strangled her and beat her with a fucking wrench like a piece of shit. So Payne then says, and this is the, Jesus Christ, this is the worst thing of all here. This is when it gets really like creepy too. He said, "Let's go to Scary Bridge." Oh, okay? Yeah. There's a bridge that's such a, it's scary. Right. That's why it's called Scary Bridge.
That's what we call it around her. Yeah.
At night, there's no lights on this bridge, okay? A pitch black bridge in the forest that crosses over Stevens Creek, which is the boundary line between Edgefield and McCormick counties, okay? Now, it's a 480-foot bridge. That's 650 cars a day go on this bridge, so it's not a very active.
Yeah.
No, it's considered, quote, functionally obsolete. At this point, which means that the bridge is not. It doesn't mean it's unsafe, but it also means that it doesn't possess. It possesses inadequate features for modern traffic, such as lane width and shit like that. It's a shitty old bridge that was built in the 20s.
It's dangerous.
And they still use it. It's dangerous. It's dark. It's creepy. It's called Scary Bridge.
Right.
Which is horrible.
Built in the 20s for vehicles that weighed 1,200 pounds.
Yeah, for probably 12 a day to go over there, just in case. It was like, you really want to build a bridge over it? Fine, we'll build the goddamn bridge if you're going to whine about it, you pussies. So Lee, as he's the driver, he drives to the bridge and parks the car. That's how desolate this bridge is. In the middle of the night, no cars are going to come probably, and it's pitch fucking black out there. So they get out of the car, the three guys, and they leave the unconscious Melanie in the back seat. Payne then, Jesus Christ, this guy is a terrible fucking person. Jeffrey Payne then tells Lee and Kelsey that he's going to go have sex with her. Now I'm going to have sex with her. That's his fucking plan.
Yeesh.
You utter and complete pile of human shit. That is fucking hideous what you're doing right now with a teenage fucking, that's disgusting. So he ends up gets in the car, he takes off his clothes, takes off her shorts, and so a couple minutes go by, and Lee knocks on the window there, warns him that there's a car coming down the road.
Wrap it up, man.
Wrap it up here. So they quickly get back into the car and start driving. The vehicle ends up passing by them. So then Jamie Lynn Lee, turns the car around and goes back to the bridge. Yeah. Goes back because that's where they wanted to park, I guess, on the bridge, because you can see things coming from either direction. Sure. I assume is my only thought here. So then Jamie Lynn Lee says that Melanie was unconscious the entire time this was going on, but she was definitely alive. He said, just unconscious. Yeah. Okay. Now, Kelsey, on the other hand, he says that he did some EMT training at some point or some bullshit, and he said he checked her pulse and he thought she was dead. Okay. Which, if someone strangles you, your pulse rate is, if you're passed out like that, your pulse rate goes way down, and if it's low, you might not be able to feel it unless you're really good at that shit.
And if you were choked out, the whole idea is that the lack of oxygen slows the heart rate.
Yeah, the whole thing. I don't believe his medical testimony from this jerk off who's 17 years old and makes pipe bombs in his friend's fucking yard.
Yeah.
So they said that Kelsey said what he saw was Jeff had his left arm around Melanie's neck. Her face was pale and her lips were a blue tint. There was enough light to see it. I guess it was lights on the bridge, is what he'll say later on, but there is no lights on the bridge. He said that once they parked the car, he had reached and tried to feel for a pulse on her neck. He said, quote, "I reached in with my left hand toward her neck. At that point, I saw that her neck was black and purple." So at this point, once they're, I guess, done with what they're doing, or Payne is, he instructs Lee to drive again. So they drive about 100 feet down the road off the bridge, and Payne tells him to stop the car right off the bridge here. And all three of them pull her out of the car and into the woods and up an embankment where they place her on the ground. So she's alive here, from what we understand here. She's definitely alive. And they carry her out of the car, place her on the ground in the woods. It's at this point that Jamie Lynn Lee returns to the car. He says, I'm going back to the car, guys. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I'm out. So he goes back. He goes back to the car, but he's still going to wait for him.
Yeah.
He goes back to the car to wait for him. He's like, I'm not going to
participation.
Yeah, he's not into. He's just the driver at this point. So Payne and Kelsey remained with Melanie in the woods. So they're standing over her, the two of these fucking monsters. And while they're standing over, Kelsey says, this is Kelsey's words here, he says that Payne instructed him to put one of the pipe bombs in her mouth.
Oh, my God. How do you get to this?
What kind of a fucking human being has that thought?
This is the most no story I've ever heard. How do you, as a 17-year-old, how do you say, she won't have sex with me, I'm going to drug her, now beat her with a Craftsman, choke her out, grab those pipe bombs? What? What is happening? He's like Wile E. Coyote wants to get laid tonight. It's like I didn't see that Roadrunner cartoon. I never did, but I assume it would end with the Roadrunner in a similar position to this. This is fucking. This is horrible, man. This is disgusting. And honestly, the only I guess positive here is that this poor girl is unconscious. That's the only thing that's positive about any of this situation, is that hopefully she didn't. None of this was taken into her fucking brain. Wow. So he says that they did that. He says he did it. He put the pipe bomb in her mouth. He said, quote, he did it because, this is Kelsey, quote, I never been as scared of another human being as I was when he asked me for that pipe bomb. That's what he says. Afraid of Payne. He said that Payne used Lee's lighter that had the word God on it. Perfect. Appropriate enough, to light the fuse of the bomb. They lit the fucking thing. Yeah. So Kelsey says, quote, just as I turned to start walking out of the woods, about 4 or 5 seconds later, I heard Jeff striking the lighter. About 10 to 15 feet away, I could hear the fuse sizzling. Oh, holy shit. He said the two ran, and a few seconds later, the bomb fucking exploded. Unbelievable.
I'm speechless. I mean, we have a lot of fucked up shit, but I'm speechless, man. This is like, my arms are up. I don't even know what the hell to say here.
I've heard of people doing terrible things to human beings, but that's a different level, man.
This is like what you would fantasize about doing if you're Melanie's father to these kids, but not what you would do to. Yeah, this is
what
like
you do to the guys that
shit.
Drugged your daughter. Forget anything else.
This is what like a mob boss has done to somebody who raped and killed his daughter. Right. This is what they would do. I want you to take him in the woods. I want you to beat him with a hammer, and then just before he dies, I want you to put a pipe bomb in his mouth and fucking explode it.
Wow,
that would be. This is fucking insanity. So, he said that Lee said that when they came out of the woods, they came running back out of the woods, and Payne says to him in an excited manner, quote, I can't believe it. It blowed her head the fuck off.
Oh, good Lord.
That's what he said.
That's the quote I expect from that kid.
That's exactly the quote you expect from that kid, and that's an exact quote. So I didn't spice it up with any fucking regional dialect there. They returned. They were like, well, let's go back to Kirshner's house, I guess, and go to sleep. Been a long day of bomb making and shit, so you know it goes. Girl killing and bomb making. So he said he told, wow, this is fucking insane. So he said Payne told them to the next morning, if anybody asked, you say that we went to sleep and Melanie was gone when we woke up and we don't know shit about it. So that's how that works. Now, Stephen and Debbie Ritchie, her parents, are quite obviously distraught while looking for their daughter, and they said Debbie Ritchie spoke on the phone to Jeffrey Payne a few days after Melanie disappeared.
Yeah.
Because I guess she knew that they knew each other. And she says, quote, Jeff told me and my husband that he didn't know how Melanie left the party. We talked to Joe Kelsey. His statements were very brief. So they talked to these people. They're doing their own investigation, essentially. And these two were like, I don't know how she left. I fell asleep. That's all. So they're continuing to hunt for they want to find Melanie. They're just looking for her. They said, this is a police officer here, said 2 nights ago we started a body hunt in Edgefield County and searched all night with no luck. We searched all day yesterday, again with no luck. And so they're just searching and searching and searching. This goes on until August 26th, 1994.
Oh, my God, a month and a half.
A month and a half of the South Carolina summer, by the way.
Oh, no.
So you can imagine the condition.
Yeah, there's not a lot left.
This poor girl's in.
That's terrible.
So, yep, they said they find the body this day. They said the body was found right on the side of the road between the road and the woods. So it wasn't even in a hard place to find. Just people drive right by it. It's not a place where anybody stops to see it. Or to see her. So she's found on that day, and she's found because Jeffrey Payne gets arrested for other shit because he's a moron and ends up giving up the whole thing and says that. But he says Kelsey did everything, obviously. But he tells them where to find the body, and so they go looking for the body. And they do this. They find her out there, like we said, and you find what's remaining of her, essentially.
It's not a lot.
The cause of death was listed as blunt trauma to the head due to some type of bomb. Yeah. That's the autopsy. So that means she was alive when it went off, which is horrifying. They said that skull fragments from her body were found 7 feet and 3 inches away from the main center of the rest of her body. That's how far they blew her head apart. The skull fragments came off like
7 feet.
7 feet 3 inches. They also found an ace bandage found at the crime scene that numerous witnesses said that was wrapped around a cut on her foot by Payne the night of the party. They find that. Also, from the crime lab, they performed the autopsy, and the post-mortem x-rays of the sinuses of the skull matched pre-mortem x-rays of Richie's sinuses. It's like they said that's very unique. Quote, each person's sinuses are different from everyone else's. Huh. Apparently sinuses you can do like dental records so that sort of thing is very, very distinctive. So this is obviously fucking insane. And for a small place like this, they've never had this happen here. This is
listen, man.
This doesn't happen most
I'll bet
places.
That didn't happen in New York City recently.
That's what I mean.
I bet it's
not recently.
I bet they have less than 10 of those.
Yeah, teenage girl fucking pipe bomb head explosions, probably a lot.
I'll go as
less
far
than.
as any human head explosion. I'm sure it's less than 10.
This is a small town murder first, and that doesn't happen very often. So there's a big reaction, obviously. And one of the problem is with a big reaction like this is it gets blown out of proportion in terms of the macro of this whole thing. The micro is these three are monsters. Let's get them put away forever. Okay, let's do that. This person, though, Chief Deputy Junior Gable here from McCormick County, he says he has a different take on the whole thing. He knew this was coming, he said. He said he knew that it was only a matter of time before the viciousness in nearby Augusta and even far away Atlanta would drift into this rural community.
Oh, come on, sir.
And he's right, goddammit. He knew it. He said, space can't protect us forever. He goes on, Jimmy. He goes on. Quote, this is an exact quote. I'm not going to jazz it up for funniness. Quote, I've been looking for this. I've been looking for it. I've been saying McCormick might as well look out for people. Well, I'm sorry. I've been saying McCormick might as well look out for it because it's coming. People doing a lot of devilment. They're coming to the rural areas.
Oh, my God.
There you go, everybody. I've been telling them. People and their devilment are coming to rural areas, and they're going to do their business, and their devilment's all on over the place. And I know devilment is a real word, but nobody uses it after the fucking 1800s, right? Devilment?
I'd never heard it until just then. And I still wish I hadn't.
It basically means wilding. That's what it means. It's like that's the definition of it that I remember when I fucking
There was a TV show on MTV in 94 called Devilin.
Devilin. Yeah. People doing a lot of devilment. And they're coming to the rural areas. Meanwhile, he said there's also a lot of secluded places. So there you go. He said there's a lot of lonely boat ramps. There's a lot of these long highways, a lot of secluded places. He says, wow, this is the other thing too. Make sure you know that this is coming from the outside and these filthy, filthy city folk. He said, quote, none of this stuff is being done by people here because we know each other and we're family, because families never kill each other.
Right.
According to this show.
Anybody that did this has a mom, therefore has a family.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Clark Hills, that's the town right next door, has been known as a good place for family activities, as a safe place. Anything that happens out here, any trouble, has been people coming in here from someplace else.
Okay.
Don't fucking blame me. I'm telling you that right now. So they arrest these three dildos. Like we said, they arrest the two of them there, Lee and Payne. They arrest them in Georgia. They arrest Kelsey in Maryland, where he had moved. He moved to Maryland in early August. So they arrest him there.
There is something about detonating explosives in a what you perceive to be deceased body that makes you want to run for the fucking hills, I'm sure.
Maybe I'll take off now. And I think the fact that he moves around a lot and knew he was moving around made him feel it was safer for him to do shit like that in places, because then he'd be moving on to the next place.
Right.
He ends up being arrested for possession of a stolen vehicle and failure to stop for an officer. So they put the lights on him.
Shitbag.
Yeah, they put the lights on him. He took off from the cops, and then they pulled him over, arrested him, and said, oh, yeah, you're wanted for murder, dipshit.
Right.
Bringing your ass back to South Carolina, where this is taking place. He's arrested in Maryland, and an officer, Slavin, arrests him in Maryland, and he will say that when he is detained in the police car, there was no questions asked, but Kelsey asked out of nowhere if he's going to be treated as an adult or a juvenile. That's his main concern. Slavin told him,
treat you like a piece of shit. How about that?
Yeah. How about which do you do, an adult or a juvenile? Do you climb into the back seat and choke and beat with a wrench? Which one is that?
Right.
Do you do that to an adult? Because then I'll treat you like an adult. He said that he would be treated as an adult, and then he said that Kelsey wanted to know why, because he said that, quote, I was a juvenile when I did it.
Oh, boy.
So that's not good. And, that's a bad thing. So they're both charged. This is Kelsey and Payne are both charged with murder, accessory after the fact, possession of a pipe bomb, desecration of human remains, and conspiracy to commit murder. Mm-hmm. So a lot. So they're wondering adult or child for Kelsey. That's the big question here, because he was 16 when it happened.
I could give a fuck, be honest with you.
Yeah, normally, well, when they're 12, you're like, come on, that's not an adult.
Right.
But 16 is, sorry, you can have like a job and you're fucking and
you
doing
can
all these
drive a
things.
car. You're legally responsible for a lot of shit. Granted, your parents are mostly on the hook for it. But look, if you can do that, you can certainly go to big boy prison.
I get that you don't know certain things and you might not understand the weight of your actions and things like that, but you know enough at 16 not to blow a girl's head off.
Right.
Head off of
That's
her body.
a good point.
You know
too.
that much with
we
a bomb.
could run it case by case where accidentally practicing wrestling moves, you hurt somebody too bad. Okay, we can consider that. You blew a girl's fucking head. What did you expect was going to happen?
That's what I mean. If an 8-year-old blew a girl's head up, I might say they saw it on cartoons and might not have known that shit was real. They might not have known that they wouldn't just be like Daffy Duck and have some black marks on their face and some feathers that were slightly burnt up and have to turn your beak around.
Stand up and put your thumb in your mouth and blow, and your head comes back.
Yeah, but when you're 16, you understand that means you killed somebody. Yeah. So they said that they were how they work that is the law provides that the family court may transfer jurisdiction to adult court if the court finds, quote, it contrary to the best interest of such child or the public to retain jurisdiction. So that's what they're doing here. So after they did a hearing on the state's motion to transfer from family to, because I guess you're automatically in family court if you're under 18 and you're arrested, and then they have to do a transfer to get you to adult prison. So I guess they did that. The family court orders jurisdiction to be transferred to the adult court for Kelsey. So he's going to be tried as an adult. The family court
and that's
found
a pretty easy judge. I mean, you go, so there's a girl that's dead. How did she die? Oh, yeah. Ship him on out, obviously.
That's it right there. They made a list of reasons why they did it, though, which is,
Can we hear?
One, Kelsey was charged with the serious and violent offense of murder, and the victim was a young girl. Okay, you could stop right there,
yeah.
I think. But two, it was likely that the grand jury would return an indictment against Kelsey, so even if we try him as an adult, it'll probably work. Three, Kelsey's two co-defendants were going to be tried in adult court. 4, if tried as a minor, Kelsey would only get 24 to 54 months if convicted on the murder charge. This was not in the community's best interest due to the seriousness of the crime.
Right.
And 5, Kelsey would have less of a chance of rehabilitation in the juvenile justice system because his sentence under that system would be brief.
Yeah.
So we want to hang on to this asshole for a while. Now.
And you know what? The corrections part of it, they're doing a piss poor job. So in the interest of what this guy is capable of versus what society will tolerate, get him the fuck out of here. The seriousness, it's crazy.
It should just say, reason, he blew up a fucking sophomore's head.
Right.
You understand that? With a pipe bomb that he made. That's all.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good night, everybody. That's a mic drop.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's your opener, your closer, and your fucking meat right in the middle. That's all of it right there.
Built said mechanism for detonation. He did it at his own hands. And then put it in the mouth of the girl. Did he light it? No. But he knew exactly what was going to happen. He tested one earlier in the day.
He saw what would fucking happen. That's what I mean. It's not like he made it and went, whoa, I didn't think that would happen. He knew it would blow a goddamn crater in the ground. It's obviously going to do the same to a fucking head. It's insane. I don't care if in the ruling they said also we teabagged him.
Right.
We lined up and we fucking teabagged him just because we're that upset about the whole matter. Fuck this kid. Or this asshole in general. So also he wants a change of jury, a change of venue, because as you can imagine, this got a bit of publicity in this area where people are coming to devilments everywhere. So there's that. And also there's some issue with the jurors as well here. During the questioning of the jurors here, the trial judge asked all of the prospective jurors whether they had heard anything about the case through the news media. Of the 90 prospective jurors, 79 said they had heard something about the case.
And the other 11 were lying out of their fucking ass.
The other 11 were lying or they were unconscious or they're like, I don't know who they are, but you would have heard about this somewhere.
The other 11 are drunk as piss for 22 hours of the day.
Yeah, unless they're here in the court.
Don't watch the news, the other 2.
So the trial judge asked if these jurors that heard about it, whether they could put aside what they'd heard and base their verdict on the evidence presented at trial.
Yeah.
35 said that they could not do that. They had decided already on the whole thing because when you hear this is really this will give you this gives you a reaction that you can't, like, you motherfuckers, how you son of a bitches. So I get that. The trial judge asked 3 of the remaining jurors after questioned them because the defense counsel was concerned about their responses. And anyway, then they did the change of venue, and the trial judge denies the change of venue as well.
Yeah.
Which kind of doesn't make sense. I would think just to, make it easier on appeals, you just move it.
Maybe, maybe that judge just wants to be a part of this shit. Really, exactly.
Yeah, he's like, I want to teabag this kid bad.
I'm not letting somebody else have the last word in this shit.
The juvenile court said teabagging him was a real joy. I feel like I owe that to myself.
I can't wait.
He said, my sound instinct, though, tells me that just because these people have heard about the case this is about the jurors, doesn't have to necessarily mean they have formed some kind of opinion at the case. To that, I think would have to, in essence, assume that they believed everything they had seen or read, and that, in essence, they were some sort of automatons that were dictated to by the news media. I don't think we can go that far. Of the 12 jurors finally seated, 3 had not heard anything about the case. So he's like, 3 out of 12 is pretty good.
Okay.
So, they narrow it down to 9 men, 3 women, and 2 alternates. So that's how that works. So no change of venue. They end up sequestering the jury overnight in a hotel. Oh, boy. Very exciting.
I bet it's beautiful.
1995. Now they're going to try Payne and Kelsey together. They want to try them together. And obviously Kelsey wants a severance here so they can blame it all on each other. So
I could see his logic and reasoning, but you stood next to her. You both did it together. You're in it. You're in it to win it. Let's go.
Lee is straight state's evidence in this motherfucker. Yeah. He's not on trial. He pleaded. He is straight state's evidence.
Drives a sensible, great gas mileage getting vehicle.
That's it. He's pleading out and testifying, not having any part of this shit. Piece of shit, don't get me wrong. Tagako, hey, what? Stop strangling a girl in my back seat, you fucking asshole.
Absolute trash, James.
Yeah, he should be, when you hear what he got, he should have got more. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, after the defense later on, they end up saying no, because in South Carolina, criminal defendants who are jointly tried for murder are not entitled to separate trials as a matter of right. Mm-hmm. It has to be, it's up to the court's discretion. So they're tried together. Kelsey's lawyer tells the jury in his opening arguments that the evidence will show that obviously Jeffrey Payne killed Melanie. He said that, quote, Kelsey is ready to be punished for what he did, but Joe took no part in the murder. He did not assist in the murder of Melanie Ritchie. So he'll take responsibility, but not for actually the thing he did. So Payne's lawyer says that he came forward on his own volition and told law enforcement directions to the body. Right. This was after he was already in custody for something else, and they were asking him about it. So it's not like he felt guilty and walked up to the police station.
He told us where the body is, so clearly he should be sent back home. What?
Obviously.
No.
They said Kelsey, on the other hand, he went to Maryland, had to be drugged back here by the cops. Obviously, he's more guilty. So duh. He said, quote, this is Payne's attorney, quote, he ain't going to get out of this one. Too many people saw him with a pipe bomb the day before the murder. Not one physical piece of evidence points to Payne. There you go. So the evidence obviously indicates that Kelsey was instrumental in constructing the pipe bombs. Yeah. They were his idea. He told them how to do it. Kelsey was with Lee and Payne on the night of the murder. He helped carry her into the woods as well. And then when they were alone together in the woods, Kelsey does not deny he placed the pipe bomb into her mouth.
That's unbelievable.
Does not deny it, but he does say that she was dead when he did it. That's his way of I'm not guilty of murder. She was already dead when I put the pipe bomb in her mouth. Because I took a class on CPR and I can read pulses. Right. That was his whole fucking thing. Yeesh. So, unfortunately for him, there's actual medical examiners who have slightly more training than him.
They do this all day.
This. Yeah, it's their thing that they do. So the trial here, the defense attorneys, Jamie Lynn Lee has to testify, obviously, against both of them.
Yeah.
So they're cross-examining him, and the
judge says, "What's your name, Jamie Lynn? Your name's James. Why don't you go by James, boy?
Why don't you just go by James, man? What are you doing here? It's not as good of a name, I'll tell you that." So this day will include explosive experts, hair and fiber analysis, forensics. A juror ended up being excused that day, so they're down to one alternate. The whole deal. There's a surprise witness from the state. This is a man, David Williams Jr. He testified that he saw a white Honda, description matching the vehicle that she's taken in, obviously, parked on the bridge around 4:45 a.m. on his way to work. Quote, I saw 2 white men standing on the side of the road, standing on the side of the car, and there were clothes and a pair of high-top tennis shoes on the bridge. So that was when Payne was in the car.
In the back seat. Oh, that's gross.
He's the guy who passed by where they went, oh, shit, somebody's coming. that's the guy.
He had his pants and his shoes on the bridge.
On the bridge. He just piled them up outside the car door.
He got out of the car, undressed, and got back in. That's how small a Honda Civic is.
And how much of a scumbag he is.
Yeah, he was naked on a bridge.
Yeah, on Scary Bridge.
And that didn't change his mind.
Nope, still into it. What a fucking dirtbag. So one of the lawyers, this is the prosecutor, asked if they end up getting the necklace. They find the necklace among her remains in the woods, so they enter that, and they make the mother put it into evidence. So it's a very... it's emotional, and they have a photograph of her wearing the necklace also and being very much alive and all that sort of thing. They also are shown graphic pictures of, these pictures are, I haven't seen them, but I can only imagine.
I don't want to see it.
I don't want to see that. It's got to be absolutely horrifying to see these, and especially when they're blown up and put on a fucking tripod in the middle of court. So, they heard some testimony from other people. Billy Joe Abercrombie, Jesus Christ, he's a explosives guy. He's an expert in improvised explosive devices and homemade bombs. He produced 2 inert pipe bombs modeled on metal fragments and end caps with a strip and all this shit. Basically reconstructed the ones that they made, but made one that won't blow up. And he likened the destructive power and fireball of the pipe bombs filled with powder from a shotgun to that of a fragmentation hand grenade. Mm-hmm. That's what he said. It's about the same type of thing. And they asked him, what type of damage would this do if you put this in a person's mouth? And he said there would be a terrific expansion of gases. It would do very, very severe damage to the skull.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bomb.
It'll put pieces of your skull over Shaq's height away.
That's fucking insanity. So they said that the type of damage suffered to the skull was consistent with an explosive device, and there was a lack of evidence to support suffocation. Mm-hmm. Also, that when they brought up the other medical examiners, the one guy said, quote, the base of the skull was missing. It would take a tremendous amount of force to do that. About the only thing that could do that would be an explosive device. Mm-hmm. So that's that. A special agent with the FBI testified that he also found metal fragments from a pipe bomb that matched these metal fragments in Kirshner's backyard, lodged into his house and in his fence as well from earlier in the day. And they introduced all of that into evidence. And at one point, this is fucking funny. At one point, the prosecutor said, or one of the defense attorneys said, is the allegation that Miss Ritchie was killed in South Carolina or Georgia? And the FBI agent said, quote, well, we're in a South Carolina court, so I assume the charges would be in South Carolina. Like, hey, stupid, what do you see that seal above the judge's head? Let's go by that.
Look around, dickhead.
Yeah. So ridiculous. Another thing they try to get in but is not allowed in is that Payne looks differently now. He's changed his appearance since then, now that he's been in jail for a year. This is a year later. They're at trial.
So obviously he's done that as a way to be a different person?
Well, the prosecution wants to introduce like his guidance counselors to say that he used to look different and used to be a lot whatever the fuck. But you're not required to attend court in the same condition you were in when you committed the crime. That's not required. As a matter of fact, they tell you to make sure to clean yourself up and put your best foot forward.
Right.
You know, you wouldn't go to a job interview looking like you did on Friday night either, when you were shit-faced and throwing up into a toilet bowl.
Do you have to walk by the composite to make sure that you match it before you sit down in the defendant's chair?
Yeah, that's him. So they wanted to call his guidance counselor from high school and talk to her about his changed appearance. And they said that that's fine. It's not relevant to the case here. It doesn't matter. Now, Jeffrey Payne does not testify in his own defense, but Kelsey does testify.
Oh, this should be good.
He's going to get up there and explain it all away here. He said that Kelsey testifies that he put the pipe bomb in her mouth, but he did not light it. He's on the stand for 9 hours, and he said that Payne strangled her, had sex with her in the back of the car, then lit the fuse of the bomb after they dumped her in the woods. He also, one of his defenses is that he should be exonerated because there was evidence supporting a defense of duress. Like Payne made him do it.
Okay.
However, in South Carolina, duress is not a defense to murder. So if I hold a gun to your head and make you kill someone, you're still guilty of murder.
That's a pretty wild law.
That's a fucking South Carolina's crazy like that.
That is nutty.
That's wild. So
it should certainly be considered
a factor, right?
Yeah,
I would say. So Kelsey also testified that, golly gee shucks, I thought we were just going to blow up some mailboxes with those pipe bombs. I didn't know we were going to do murders. He said that at the wrench, he said that he thought Payne, he didn't know he was going to beat the girl with the wrench. He thought that Payne wanted to steal a car bumper to give to Kirshner, the guy who owns the house, his girlfriend, because her bumper had been knocked off in a wreck earlier.
So he brought one wrench.
One wrench. That's why. So we're going to steal a bumper and then blow some mailboxes up. That's what he assumed this was all for. So he does admit that he, on cross-examination, that he placed the pipe bomb into her mouth. And he says, quote, she was definitely, without a doubt, dead. That's his point there. He said Jeff had his left arm around her neck. He goes over that thing, says, I felt her pulse. I know that she was definitely dead. He said that he and Payne and Lee carried her body into the woods and put the bomb in her mouth because he was afraid of Payne. That's why.
Yeah.
And he said, quote, I never been as scared of another human being as I was when he asked me for that pipe bomb, like I said earlier. And that's what he said. Now, under cross-examination, they asked him, what were you thinking when you got into the car with Payne, Richie, and Lee and a pipe bomb? And he said, you knew you had a pipe bomb? And he said, yes. He said, you knew you were going to blow something up? And he said, yes. You knew you were going to commit a crime? And he said, yes. So he said, how could you see that her face was pale at 4 a.m. in the back of the seat of the car?
Right.
And he said there was lights on the bridge, or Jamie must have turned on the interior light. And they responded, quote, Mr. Kelsey, there's no lights on that bridge.
Yeah.
So I think you're probably full of shit there, buddy. And he also questioned Kelsey about numerous inconsistencies between his testimony in a hearing in December 1994 and all this type of shit. They also, Myers made Kelsey, the fucking prosecutor, made him put one of the FBI replicas of the pipe bombs into the prosecutor's mouth. He said, put one of those in my mouth. So for the jury, he showed the jury this guy physically putting a bomb in another human being's mouth, which, wow. That is wild. Like, I don't even know what to say about that.
In a lot of them, they say, as a lawyer, you want to put the murder weapon in his hand.
Yeah. But this is, that is wild.
Dead ass serious.
Take this sword and chop my head off, will you? Just like you did there. He also asked Kelsey, if you're so scared when that car passed by, why didn't you fucking run after that car and try to get help? If you were scared to death of Jeff Payne, why didn't you flag down Mr. David Williams Jr. in his pickup truck? What is fucking wrong with you? And he, that part's mine. I don't think he added that.
I wish he said
What's
that
your
right
fucking problem? Oh, what the fuck are you doing?
The fuck is wrong with you?
What the
right
fuck
in
is
his
wrong
eyes.
with you? I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I mean, Jesus Christ. He put a bomb in her mouth. What do you want from me? This is fucking ridiculous. This guy's an asshole.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
What the fuck is wrong with you? So they ask him that, and Kelsey says, quote, and this is the dumbest response to anything I've ever heard, quote, I guess I wasn't thinking as rationally as you are now. No shit. Probably not, no. Considering you put a pipe bomb in a teenage girl's mouth. I would say you're not. Then he made Kelsey and Payne stand next to each other to see who was bigger. Kelsey admitted that he's about an inch taller and slightly heavier than Payne. So he's like, okay, you're bigger than him, so it's not like he could threaten you physically. He said, quote, what weapon did Jeff Payne have to make you fear for your life? And he said, quote, he had no weapon.
Right.
You had the pipe bomb. So
he had a wrench, Your Honor.
Jesus Christ. Then he said the last time you saw them before you alleged Payne was strangling her, they were embracing. Both Lee and Kelsey both say at some point during the ride over there, they turned around and they were like, and Payne and Melanie like had their arm around each other, like type of thing. Like they were,
it's a Honda Civic. That's what you have to do in the backseat of that thing.
No.
You're touching.
Well, you know what I'm talking about. Like they had their, they were like hanging out, like they were whatever, cuddling or some shit, but they weren't like making out or anything. So he said that then they said they got they got chairs and they measured everything out to the size of a Honda Civic in the courtroom. Yeah. And they asked Kelsey how Payne could have strangled Richie in the back seat without him knowing about it. He said, "quote There was nothing that would have led you to believe that they were in a fuss or a tussle. You never felt Payne or Miss Richie hit the back of your seat.
Excellent
if you're strangling a 15-year-old in a Honda Civic, she's kicking the fuck out of those seats.
Right.
She kicked the gear shifter, so
she put that shit in neutral."
Yeah, and Kelsey said, "quote I think if someone would have hit my seat, I would have felt it." So there you go. Wow, that's fucking wild. So they said that they asked him all sorts of questions here. They said they asked him if he was lying about all this shit, and he said, well, they asked him if he said I was a juvenile when I did it thing, and he said, well, I didn't say that. And they go, well, it's in the report, and they had him read the report, and he goes, don't you see that it's in the report? And he goes, yeah, but I didn't say it. So his attorney moved for a mistrial.
Okay.
Because he said that they were pitting statements against each other, so it's a mistrial. Meanwhile, he's just lying on the stand, probably.
Yeah.
So that's probably what it is.
Isn't that perjury? They could have brought that Maryland officer in to say, yeah, he fucking sure did say that. That's why I wrote it.
Yeah, they got his report in there. Also at trial, they asked Kelsey if Richie's mouth was bleeding inside the car, and he responded there was a small trace of blood on her mouth. And then that's where they trip him up because he had testified at a hearing to something different. He said that do you remember do you remember the other guy said, Mr. Kelsey, was there any blood in the car or any blood on Melanie or in the car? And you said, no, sir, it wasn't. And he said, I don't remember that conversation. I mean, I tried to write down exactly what we talked about right afterwards. I said we had a brief conversation and then he gave me forms and I wrote it down. So he's saying that he doesn't remember whether he said that or not. You'd remember blood. Yeah. That's one of those things that you remember. They also bring in an FBI agent, Harold Harrison. So Harry Harrison here.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Name your kids better, everybody. Fuck me. Do better. Kelsey sought to elicit testimony concerning statements Payne made to the FBI during the investigation. And they said that Payne's attorney objected, arguing that Payne's credibility could not be impeached unless he took the stand himself. They tried to go around that. So anyway, they ended up revealing, they did a proffer of it so they could read what it was outside of the presence of the jury, and they revealed that it didn't contain any admission of guilt, but discussed the sequence of events, which they already knew. So they said, fuck it, get everything out of there. Now, photos are a thing. He argued that the judge erred in admitting photos into evidence because they were so horrible. And two of them especially consisted of a diagram of the crime scene and photographs of various bone and bomb fragments and clothing found at the scene. His attorneys note that Melanie's body was discovered some 46 days after the crime was committed. Good Lord. They suggest that weather or local fauna could have altered the crime scene during this period, and the state's depictions were inaccurate representations of the crime scene and therefore prejudicial. And so, fucking ridiculous, right? The court says, eat dicks, it's coming in. Yeah. Also, prior bad acts. I guess Payne's attorney asked Kelsey if he had any legal problems or been arrested before July 12th, 1994. He responded that he hadn't. Then they asked him if he had any. They asked him all this shit, and they ended up asking him about a forgery charge, and he responded he wasn't aware that there was charges against him. So they basically tried to show that he was like a bad kid, Kelsey. They're like, yeah, he's a jerk off, but it doesn't get admitted, most of it. The judge said, I've stricken the last question, but let me be sure and remind you that the attorney's question is not evidence, that I have stricken all of that. So you will disregard that. Okay, that's that. So anyway, in this whole thing here, the attorney inquired into a prior act of forgery, and I don't know if he ever ended up being charged with this forgery. During the closing, okay, They say, quote, this is the prosecutor, a few weeks before her 16th birthday, Melanie Ritchie disappeared. 4 to 6 days later, her destroyed body lay in the woods while her parents searched everywhere, while officials from South Carolina, Georgia, and the FBI searched everywhere. Both Kelsey and Payne are guilty of murder. They acted together, participated together, drugged that poor child into the woods, put a pipe bomb in her mouth, and lit it. Okay, that's pretty good. Also says, Joe Kelsey says the only reason he put the pipe bomb in Melanie Ritchie's mouth was that he's deathly afraid of Jeff Payne. He's afraid of Jeff Payne, who's armed with nothing but a Zippo lighter, and he's holding a bomb. He said 2 things are certain after July 12th, 1994. A whole lot of lying started and the partying never stopped. Kelsey said he was seeking help, so he'll do one more crazy thing. He steals a truck and goes to Myrtle Beach. That's what he did. And then they found him in Maryland. Melanie's body is in the woods rotting, and he's going to the beach partying. And also showed a picture and said, tonight we'll go home. We'll go back home when we leave. Back to Martinez, back to Augusta, back to McCormick County. But one person won't go home, but let her family take something home. Justice. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Payne's attorney comes up and starts talking shit about Kelsey.
Of course he does.
He said, this guy should be an NFL running back with his moves, but now he sees the sand going down around his feet. The state hasn't even charged Jeffrey Payne with possession of a pipe bomb. There's no physical evidence against Payne. Clearly he was innocent instead of, wow. The defense of Payne was based on the facts that show that Kelsey killed Ritchie. He said, who designed and made the pipe bomb? Who carried and placed the weapon that shows malice in this case? That's Joe Kelsey right there. And he said that Kelsey was the most difficult witness he'd encountered in 17 years of practicing law. Consarn it, he's the most difficult sumbitch I ever did face.
He really did make a reference to football?
He absolutely did. He could have been an NFL running back with his bebopping and scatting left and a right.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
Fucking wild. He also said, quote, he said that Ritchie was killed in the back seat by Jeff Payne. He said, when I checked her pulse, I knew she was dead because this fella right here put her in a stranglehold. That's Kelsey's lawyer. So there you go. Wow. If you've got 3 guys hooked up on something awful and 2 of them are best friends and one of them is the new kid in town, who do you think's going to get the blame? That's what Kelsey's lawyer says. Mm-hmm. These 2 are concocting. So the jury instructions come around here, and they're arguing about failure to instruct the jury that one's mere association with a person who commits a crime does not make a defendant an accomplice or a co-conspirator to the guilty perpetrator. He's got a lot of balls to say that.
He's going hard,
shit.
yeah.
As they're saying, well, she was dead when I put the pipe bomb in, so that's irrelevant. Right. So at this point, we're worried about, was I an accomplice in the car? And I was just there. I thought we were just going on for a ride, and I didn't know that she was being strangled in the back seat, which is a big fucking stretch for anybody to make. So, yeah, he also argues mistake of fact, saying that the trial court should have not refused to charge the jury on the law of mistake of fact. He contends that he believed Ritchie was dead when he placed the pipe bomb in her mouth. He asserts that even if Ritchie were alive when he did this, his mistaken belief that she was dead negates the criminal intent required to be convicted of murder. I thought she was fucking dead. What do you want from me? That's pretty goddamn wild.
I blew up a human being. I'm not an asshole.
Wow. So after deliberating for 4 hours for 2 people,
right,
and a lot of charges, which isn't a lot of time, they come back and find Joe and Jeffrey Payne guilty of murder.
Good.
So
yeah,
both guilty of murder in the first degree. Not surprising. Yeah. So before sentencing, the judge allows her father, Steve Ritchie, Melanie's father, to speak, and he obviously wants maximum sentences for everybody.
Sure.
He says, quote, Melanie was a lot of things, a student, a member of our church, a sister, and maybe first of all, my daughter. The only remorse on anyone's part charged in this trial was remorse at being caught. The judge agrees. The judge says, well, we'll start out with Jamie Lynn Lee. Jamie Lynn Lee, you, sir, may fuck off. You're going to be pissed about this. 10 years he got.
Yikes.
That's not
He lifted
enough.
at what he believes is an unconscious girl into the woods with two buds, and then left them to do whatever they were. Did nothing to stop this.
He continued to drive while people were being strangled in his fucking car.
He Uber murdered all over town. Fuck this kid.
This is 10 years. That's wild, man. That's crazy. He pleaded guilty to accessory after the fact. That's what he got. And the other two, you, sirs, may fuck off. Life in prison for both of them, for Payne and for Kelsey, but with parole.
Oh, my.
With parole because of their age. So, So they said, the prosecutor said that he was pleased. He said, quote, "I'm as tired as I've been in a long time, and I'm as happy as I've been in a long time. Our stated goal was to get murder convictions on both Payne and Kelsey." So, 1998, Kelsey's trying to appeal this shit.
Of course
he's appealing there. They said that, this is ridiculous. He didn't know that she was alive, all this type of shit. The judge said on one of the motions, quote, "I don't know of anything more malicious than sticking a pipe bomb in a person's mouth, dead or alive."
Yeah.
Either way, it's not sweetening the deal any that she was fucking dead. So, the appeals are on, did the court err in Kelsey's directed verdict motions, insufficient proof, blah, 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 of conspiracy. They said that they shouldn't have transferred it to adult court. Meanwhile, I gave you the reasons why they did, and they seem pretty reasonable.
Pretty good.
They denied the change of venue. The judge said that, talked to everybody. Everybody said they were good. Should have declared a mistrial when they pitted Kelsey's testimony against the police officer's testimony of whether he made that statement in the car. Should have been a mistrial there. What else? What else is good here? Precluding Kelsey from introducing Payne's statement into evidence, which didn't really help him at all anyway when they looked at it. Motion for severance. Did the trial court err in admitting a diagram and photos of the crime? No. It's all of the same shit that everybody goes on, but the most thing they're concentrating on, because that's the thing that Payne also concentrates on, is the jury and the fact that we should have had a change of venue because 79 of 90 jurors had heard of the case.
Yeah, I mean, sure, all the other facts in this are fine. I definitely had sex with an unconscious woman in the back of a very small car with my buddies outside the car on a bridge, and then I beat the shit out of her and drug her into the woods.
Hold on. Quote from somebody else. That's not a quote from you.
Oh, no.
Yeah, okay.
I did not
That sounded like you were like, yeah, I've done that. We've all done that, but you don't put a pipe bomb in your mouth afterwards.
All of these things, I'm fine with telling this court and letting them judge whether I'm a piece of shit or not and what I deserve for that.
For real.
But those people can't hear it. What?
No, that's all right.
But that group of 12 people are incapable of making a sane decision.
They can't understand it. Well, 35 of them said they couldn't because they wanted to probably strangle these fucking kids. Or they found that as a good way to get off of jury duty also. You never know because people have, whatever. So I don't know what the fuck it is, but they said, they're saying that, what are you talking about? Through this whole thing, they note that they didn't even, I guess, accurately state the law in their motion. The whole thing's a goddamn disaster. So it ends up being upheld in 1998. The trial is upheld, or the conviction is upheld. Within a 2-week period, both Kelsey and Payne have appeals rejected for this. So they go in. Now they're in prison. I found Kelsey in prison. I haven't found Payne yet, but I found Kelsey. And Kelsey is still in prison, but his projected parole eligibility, the day he was eligible for parole, September 22nd, 2015. Oh. He's up for parole, Chief. Both of them are.
Oh,
they're both up for parole because that's 20 years. That's when you get your first look. So
I hope that they just constantly tell them no.
Wow.
I mean, you did what? No.
They're going to, I assume, because they were very young. So if you're, 45 now, you're going to, or whatever, you're going to say like, well, I'm a lot different than I was when I was 16 and I, blah, 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 blah. They're going to let these fucking people out eventually. And it's It's scary that anybody walking around the streets has memory of blowing up a teenager's head. They just shouldn't. I mean, that's crazy.
And possibly they won't, depending on whether or not they are a different person today. But even if they are a different person today, you can't put a pipe bomb in a human being's mouth and say, I didn't expect that.
No, especially a 15-year-old girl. It's not like you guys were rival drug gangs or something.
Yeah.
Like, this is an innocent girl that just went out to hang out with her friends on a summer night. Like, this is crazy.
Your expectation of what's about to happen and what can happen later.
Yeah.
It can't be she's going to be fine. That's just not there.
So, 11 days before her 16th birthday, she died, and she finally got a proper burial, at least, in Westover Memorial Park in Augusta there. So at least she's got a proper burial, and for now, at least 2 of the 3 guys are in jail. The other one's been out forever. Christ, he's been out. He watched 9/11 from his living room, that motherfucker. So,
or he didn't, because he went back to jail because he's a turd.
That's the other thing.
He's got to be back in jail. He's got to be an asshole.
He's a squirrel. He was like the guy who just went along with everything. He was like the lackey. He's like Payne's lackey. Crush up that ecstasy tablet. Go get me a wrench. Fucking drive me to the bridge so I can rape a girl and kill her. That's a lackey. That's pathetic.
I could see that, but
he's the most pathetic person here, I feel like. He really is.
Right. Yeah.
He didn't even have the balls. At least I feel like Kelsey was a little interested in what was going on here and was kind of into it. Payne was trying to get his fucking rocks off.
Yeah.
And Lee was just this guy that was too fucking much of a pussy to say anything about it, because I don't think he agreed with any of this shit, but he let it go. Right. He had a moral thought and went, nah, it's cool. Fuck it. I don't want people to not like me.
Yeah, but crush up ecstasy, get me a
right
wrench, drive while I'm doing this in the back seat.
Yeah.
Get out so I can fuck her.
Yeah.
What?
No, this is a lackey, a pathetic person, and I don't feel bad for him at all. So fuck all 3 of these people.
Truly.
And poor Melanie Ritchie, we feel terrible. So that's an awful thing. I feel bad for her family. They seem like decent people and that have been crushed by this whole thing.
I can't imagine.
She was well loved. I found a couple of articles where there was from 2005 where there was still like classmates of hers posting on the comments like, oh man, she was such a great person and we really miss her and shit like that. So she stuck in people's minds and apparently was a really, good person. And whether she's good or not doesn't matter. Right. That's a terrible way to go out. But in this case, seems like she was really a great person too. And it sucked. So this depressed the fuck out of me last night reading all this. I had a very depressing night, but that's okay because it was a crazy case, and fuck these 3. So that said, hope you enjoyed that insanity. If you did, certainly tell everybody about it. If not, go fuck yourself and don't bother. But if you did, no, I'm just kidding. But
don't
if
say
you did,
the other way, you fucking jerk.
Yeah, exactly. Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars. It really helps out a lot. It helps drive the show up the charts. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now for everything crime and sports and small town murder related. Get your merchandise. Get all that stuff. Get tickets to live shows. Right. Full slate for 2022. Certain people have asked us, how come Denver's not on there? Uh-huh. Well, Denver was one of the 4 shows we got in 2020 before everything shut down. So these are all rescheduled 2020 shows. So Denver, technically, we won't be doing till 2023 because we got that in 2020. So there's a couple like that are like Salt Lake City's the same way.
I'm so upset. Yeah.
I love Denver. Christ, it's legal weed and it's beautiful. You think I'm not going to fucking want to go there? I love going there. Last time we stood out in a huge snowstorm just smoking giant joints. It was a beautiful experience. I loved it there. So, get all your tickets there at shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Patreon.com/crime in sports.
Yes.
You need to be all over this shit. You get access to everything, both shows, bonus episodes, and we think you'll be interested in all of them, as a matter of fact. Try to do it so they're kind of, they hold full interest.
It's a little different. It's a little more fun, a little more loosey-goosey, and it's so entertaining.
It really is. Our 2 shows this week we did the Atlanta Gold Club scandal for the Crime and Sports one, which was a very high-class, quote-unquote, strip club where famous people had gross things done to them, and it's pretty hilarious.
And the timing of it made it go away really fast.
Absolutely. Yeah, they had a big trial, and people had to testify to the gross things that happened there. And what I've been saying, you find out, what did Madonna, Patrick Ewing, and Bill Gates all have in common? Want to find out? Well, here you go.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. Patreon.com/crime and sports. And for the Small Town Murder episode, we talked about the theory that they based that Sons of Sam documentary on, that the son of Sam, David Berkowitz, did not act alone.
Right.
And actually he was part of basically a multinational conglomerate of satanic cults that has a very organized schedule of how they're doing things. Yeah. And they assign people for murders on the other coast. It's a very... The bureaucratic red tape through this whole thing and all these Satanist cults that's probably what killed them all. Too much bureaucratic, all the receptionists they had to hire, all the
when you franchise
data entry. It's too much. It's just too much. So, but we have I read the whole book that Maury Terry wrote called The Ultimate Evil, which is 25 hours of an audio book on why it's a conspiracy and his very intricate thoughts on the whole thing. And this episode is fucking hilarious. You got to listen to it. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Plus, you're going to get a shout out at the end of the show, because not only do we love you, we feel like you need to hear your name and hear it pronounced poorly. That's our goal.
That's
so
me in the show.
If you just want to get a shout out and have great karma and earn our undying affection, you can do that very easily over at PayPal, also using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. And now it's time, before we get to shout outs, I want to play this trailer for everybody out there. We're so excited about this. We worked so hard on this network. Like we said, especially behind the scenes, Sarah has gone above and beyond what any normal person could possibly do to build some shit and do paperwork and just coordinate and talk to people. And we're proud of this. We want to bring you shows that we think are good enough that we would listen to, and that we're proud enough to put our name on, and that's what it is. As you know how we are, we're very much careful about what we put our name on. And these are shows that we have no problem saying, we are happy to present this to you. And it's the Upside Down Digital Network is our network. Upside Down. And our first show that we're putting out is called Game of Crimes. And it has Steve Murphy, Steve Murphy is the guy, the blonde guy in Narcos is based on. That's him. That's awesome. Murph. So it is. And he was a DEA agent. He's done you can't even imagine the life this guy's led. It's absolutely insane. And the crazy life that his partner Morgan's led as well is crazy. Morgan Wright as well. He has a crazy life. He was a cop forever.
Kansas law dog, right?
All around.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did that. And I think he was something federal as well. Yeah. But he was, either way, these guys are going to present a case, and they have a great sense of humor. Yeah. They're not dry, it's going to read the facts to you. They're really funny, really sharp guys. They rip each other, and their guests, they bring on, you're going to have Colombian hitmen from prison. They're going to interview, shit like that. Guests that nobody can get. You're inside things on cases that you thought you knew a lot about, and you don't know a lot about it, because they're going to tell you even more behind the scenes stuff. This is the good shit. I'm telling you, with the research they do and the way they put their shows together, you are going to love this. Game of Crimes. What do you say we give them the trailer right now?
Lift the veil. Roll the fucking
Let's
curtain.
do this. A special sneak preview. It doesn't come out. The trailer doesn't come out till this weekend even, but we wanted to give everyone here a special sneak preview of Game of Crimes.
Boy, here's what I need. I want ring road cleared so I can get ambulances out, okay?
I walked across the street and I saw the bodies of Lindsay Lou and Martin Richard on the ground at the second bombing site. And so I knew that not only we had bad injuries, but we also had bodies, and this was going to be an international incident.
These are the stories you won't hear anywhere else, told by the people who live them. It's the ultimate game. Welcome to Game of Crimes.
We've had these ups and downs before, so I wasn't quite sure what they had, but I felt like it was going to be pretty important. Tom lays out these 3 sheets of paper, Marcia Chapman, Opal Mills. Then he throws down the 3rd sheet of paper, and the title of that was Green River Killer. It matched the other 2, and I looked at Tom and I said, "Hey, are you trying to tell me we've caught the Green River Killer?" And he looked at me, he didn't say anything. He pulls out an envelope and hands it to me, and he says, "Yeah, his name is in here." I said, "I don't even need to open that thing. It's Gary Ridgway." he opens it up and pulls out the mugshot of Ridgway, and that's the mugshot that was taken of him when he was arrested for patronizing a prostitute in 1982. It's the only mugshot we had of him.
You know what I should have had playing? I should have had playing a little Latin music. Kind of like the theme from Narcos, but we'd get our ass sued for that. I am going to insert into this, him and I being co-hosts. So, Steve, did you catch all that? Did I go too fast? You good?
You did, but I'll read it in the notes later. And thank you for having me as a guest on my own show. And I'm in front of Tommy, and I go around the corner to peek in the door, do a quick peek. And I saw my reflection in the mirror and about crapped my pants right there. I think I knocked Tommy down trying to get out of the way.
Hey, for Murph's benefit, would you tell him what pecuniary means?
You're reading my mind, brother. Is that like penicillin, or is that helps you with your zits? What is
now,
that?
Is that huge spelled with an H or a Y? Like huge?
Don't you understand f***ing English?
Yeah. Bro, hey, let me tell you, Don, I've been working with this guy for months, and this is all I got.
Man, I'm going to send you my English book.
It's about 4 pages long. It's you. What's up, you mutt?
I'm getting off the elevator in the federal building, going to lunch with a couple of the other agents. And who is standing there at the elevator when I got off? In the federal building is the crook. And I thought, oh my God, it's done.
I went over there. As you know, I walked up to the volcano house, which is his, top of the island, and we headed out, and I didn't want to shoot him. I just wanted to look at him. To be honest with you, I shot very few people in my life. Okay.
More than 5 or less than 5?
Let's go less.
Subscribe for free wherever you're listening right now and join us for our first 2 episodes on June 28th. Hear from the people who have been players in the biggest game of all, the game of crimes.
How great is that?
That's what it is.
It's awesome. The interviews are so cool. I've heard some stuff where my mind was blown listening to some of the things they have already. It's so amazing. Seriously, you're going to listen to that, and keep your eye out, because I think the next week after that, or 2 weeks after that comes out, we have another show coming out that is just as exciting and just as amazing.
I can't wait to
somebody
hear it.
who's it's the point of view is really unique, really original, and just a lot of talent there, and a lot of really good stories and great stuff. You're going to love that as well. So we cannot wait. We're so proud to present the Upside Down Digital Network to everybody out there. That said, I would like to thank everybody because you made this possible as well. So we would like to thank...
You've pushed us so far in terms of professionalism and building something that we can be proud of, and we truly can't thank you enough. And you deserve more credit than we can offer.
Absolutely. So thank you so much. And Jimmy, please, please, please hit me with the names of the most fantastic people on the face of the earth who would never blow my head up with a pipe bomb.
This week's executive producers are Melissa Turner. Melissa Turner is her name, actually. Joanne Ahern, Brandon Kibler.
First name.
Brandon Kibler got full-time work. Congrats, Brandon. Good for you. And shared the wealth with us. What a darling.
Why, thank you. That was sweet.
Other executives are Marion R. Kahn, Matthew Reed. He's an Italian chef in Boston, and he lost his job. Or he quit his job. I can't tell. He just said former Italian chef.
Jordan I just
Bennett,
went very
of course.
Italian on him.
Jordan Bennett, Alexandra Little, Daniel Schreiner, Jill Locan, Luella Bryan, Agape. Look, I'm gonna do my best. Agape Tiama Paolo Latericcioni. Nope, Laterioci.
Fuck yeah.
Jenna Brissanatola Marisolo. That's
God damn. Right. Wow.
But it's a real name, I guess.
Bunch of sounds.
Also, Kirsty Stevens, Amy Bryant, Aaron Basinski, and Leo Fair. Thank you guys for giving as much as it's incredible. I can't thank you enough for what you do.
Honestly.
Truly. Other producers this week are Corporal Carl Kirshner, Thomas Smith, Aunt Esther, and her lover Grady. I don't know what that show is a reference to, but
that's a goddamn. Are you kidding me? It's
Aunt
fucking
Esther
Sanford and Son.
Oh, is it?
It's Sanford and Son.
I don't know. No, I don't.
Grady was his best friend.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Also, Thomas Hammer, Alexandria Parks, Peyton Meadows, Fawn Leibowitz. She perished in a kiln fire. That's a reference to
That's
Animal
what
House.
happened, yes. Thank you. I knew
Louis
it was a
De Palma
reference to
and Jim Ignatowski. I think that's also Animal House.
Those are taxi characters. Those are taxi characters.
Oh!
Louis De Palma is Danny DeVito, and Jim
Yes.
Ignatowski is Christopher Lloyd in Taxi. That's who they are.
Son of a bitch. And Rabbi Shmulovich, still have to dig that one up. It's from a movie, too. This guy.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Gary's the best. There's also Carla Broman, Jennifer Stevens, Dana Stewart, James Martyr. Happy birthday, Totsi. Whoever Totsi is, didn't give a last name. James Martyr. Where did I go? I already said that. Margaret Cowan. Chelsea at Fresh Baked Goods. That's PH Fresh in Denver. I imagine that is Weed's shop, right? Probably.
Beautiful. Hey.
I imagine.
Let's
There's
hope so.
also
Hell yeah.
Ron Jeremy's pet snake, Chris Chirico, and happy birthday from Skeeter. Jessica Messeri wants to be on Biggs. Good for you, Biggs. Felicia Reed, Larry Butterfass. That guy is fucking fantastic, P.S. I really like that guy. Stephanie Rogers, Ron Rico. I don't know who Ron Rico is. Who the hell is that? That's a reference to something also. Jess Campanello, Janice Hill, Shelley Roberts in Pew Pew, Texas, over there in Gun Barrel. Thomas DeMello, Stacy Nielsen, and everyone over on Discord. Courtney Fligler, and Tyler Flores, because he's the best husband and dad, James. In case you thought you were in the running, you're wrong.
Damn it.
Jude Kendall, I said that, I think. Wow. No, I didn't. Caleb and Delilah Destin, they got a new puppy named Otis. Adam Dugdale.
Sweet.
Cameron Mitchell. Cameron Mitchell Hall. I think it's Cameron. There's no way that's Cameron, right? It's Cameron, right?
Cameron Mitchell is an actor that was in a bunch of shitty B movies, and it's a joke.
I don't think
for
that's
best
who
of
this
the worst.
is.
I hope. No?
Happy
Okay.
birthday,
I doubt it's
Mr.
the guy,
Hall,
but maybe.
or Mrs.
Thank
I
you.
don't know.
Yeah.
The guys at Glendale Customs for all your Cerakote needs. Ashley Vio, Lori Olson, Cynthia Maddox, I think that's Jeanne Hahn, Mary Kate Cantrell, Ethan Bentley, Mitchell Foley, Cody Murtaugh, Noah Fox, Rebecca Trong, Jordan with no last name, Ryan Mezatzia, Ashley Dorian Medwig, Andrew Lamar, Samantha Schlieffenbaum, Zoot Steeples, Megan Fiera. What? Why does it say Ask? No way that's her last name. Ask? Is it Monica? I don't know. Robert Rigel, Wooly with no last name, Matt Caruch, Debbie Jones, Lisa Aris, Nat Freestone, Della Mead, Eric Langdon, Andrea Stanley, Amy Morrison, Debbie Gorsh, Paige Hardy, Zoe Littleberry, DeJuna, Benjamin DeJuna. Sarah Hyatt, Francois LaGrange, Cassandra Angle, Amanda with no last name, Lindsay, what is it?
You're a mess.
I'm a dummy. Lindsay Dalrymple, Matthew Johnson, Rudy Marshall, Nick Creech, Tyler Correct. That's not right. I'm sure that's not correct. It's something else. I imagine my phone or my computer did that. Catherine Purves, Ingrid Mo. It's trying to fix my bullshit. Tim Emmel, Draca Publishing, Jenna Wiley, Helen Avalos, Josh Bovey, Virginia Martin, Lorna Bai, Anna Rodriguez, Annalie Mosier, Sean Slayton, Leah Cook, Troy Watt, Amy Hoffman, Justin Witt, Dustin Kissling, Catherine with no last name, and also Sean with no last name, Tammy Madrigal, Matthew Baker, Small Beef, Gray with no last name, Caitlin Butler, Yuki Rocks, LOL, so maybe not, Peter Mulholland, Katie Davis, Seth Nadeau, Sean P., Adeline Shine, Jill Wink, Alice Kosrevi, Eric with no last name, Chelsea Berman, Royal B., Alana, Skull Beard, Jennifer Drum, Janie B., Janie B., Jamie Ellefson, Colt Dupree, Susan Childers, no relation to the lady in Sling Blade, CW Glassworks, Courtney Arredondo, Paul Pesavento, Ashley Lang, Jenna and Kaylin, no last name for either, Tony Centeno, what is this, Matt Dennett, Keith and Cassie Pearson, Spider Matt, Dale Artis, Hunter Hogue, Randy with no last name, Shailene Falconberry, Catherine Chase, Jessica Freed, Christian Bewley, Philip Messick, Misty Reynolds, Alex Stowe, Emily Southworth, Rachel Schneider, Alex Kelso, Dave with no last name, Renee Snelling, Amber Young, Scubalicious, Robert Cherry, Richard Shorter, Justin A., Rachel Moore, Joe with no last name, Benjamin Harry, Sharon Durr, the Monster Girls guy, whatever that means. Ronnie Moe, 1015, Rachel Jacobs, Whitney Holt, Kevin Powell, Beth Paget, Allie Pryor, and also Alex Pryor, Elise Batchert, Renee Snook, Matt Glazer, nope, that's John Rayfield, Sarah Sexinski, oh boy. Sexinsky, Robert Carroll, Chris. I don't know what it is.
That's a problem.
Crystal with no last name. Robert Carroll, I said that. Denise McIntyre. Jess Campanello, I said that. She donated both ways. Thank you. Jennifer.
Thank you.
Jennifer Nigro. Marshall, I have to say it slow like that and not sound like an asshole.
So it doesn't, yeah.
Right. Marshall Williams. Katie Farish, Mandy Randolph, Cress Musgrove, Melissa De Santiago, John Doe, Julie Gallagher, Jasmina Kaminska, Andrew Kiersey, William Christian, Alejandro Medina, Armand Smits, like Rick, Sarah Nuchterline, David Holtz.
Oh, God.
Sarah Jean Marie, Kim Purpura, Holden Fart. You happy about yourself? Are you proud? God damn it! Tony with no last name. Kimberly Croupeau, Edward Montoto, Luke with no last name. Caleb Kenny, Arjun had no last name. Brittany Leone, Brian Karbowski, Elena Robledo, Blair McDonald, Sammy Hall, Chelsea Smith, Dean with no last name. Emmanuel Cunt. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Alexandra Little, Connor Johnson, Sarah LaFleur, Matthew Thurlow, Kara Vaughn, Jennifer Fassler, Kelly Ferraro, Mr. Sparkle, sorry. Kira Laparty.
Sparkle.
Amity Kamiziak. Jen Hobson, Russ Paxson, Nick Garcia Scafire. Casey Powers, Clark B, Canyon Drake, Chris Rhoda, A Weird Life, Dom Ferrari, Melissa Grimm, Brycelyn Anderson, Mason Hyde, Collie Stevens, Will Kranitz, Ariel Chilcote, Ryan Freed, Desiree Ray, Aaron Phillips, Nick Ligon, Lisa Lee, Caroline Barr, Nate Neuschwander. I think that's a reference to Black Sheep. Chad and Alia, maybe, Shane Evans, Hunter with no last name, Jason Sibley, Tia Churchill, Ash Martell, Mothman with no last name because it's the prophecies, obviously. Jason Alford, Bears Wild, Wayne Kerr, Jeremy Visser, Kevin Shook, Sarah, Sarang Zahave, Chernobyl, what? Maureen Lacey, Raina with no last name, Ryan Burgess, Lai H. Kerr, William Woods, Dave Van Hoff, Dave Kanthoff, Sarah Kersey, Susan Carlton, and Brandy Rawls, and obviously all of our patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts,
feels good. Feels real
thank
good.
you. Feels really good. We really hope you get on board with the shows on the network and give them a shot, because we wouldn't put them out unless we thought they were just as good as what we were doing.
Right.
That's a fact. I mean, honestly, we looked high and low for stuff. This isn't the first thing that fell in our lap or anything like that. That's why it took a year to put the whole thing together, because we didn't want to launch with anything but the best, and we're going to launch with the two best possible shows we can. And so we're very excited about that. Jimmy, what if people wanted to tell you how excited they were about anything? How could they get a hold of you?
You can find me on the internet, and you can also find James there. Do some Googling, work that Google hard, and find us both.
You can find us on the internet. Yeah. Yes, exactly. You know how to work that shit. You found our show.
Yeah.
You can find that.
Hey, Siri, where's Jimmy?
Where are they? And then you'll
Jesus.
find us there. Okay, that's pretty hilarious. That's not getting cut out, by the way. That's funny as shit. Where's Jimmy? He's right in front of me, asshole. It answered sarcastically.
It told me to unlock my iPhone.
Stupid. Did it add stupid to the end of it? Because that would have been appropriate.
Unbelievable. We're right here, asshole.
Find us out there. Keep coming back week after week after week because we'll be here. We're not going anywhere. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus